Welcome everybody to day 3 of DudaCon. Today we are going to be focusing on seeing Duda in action. So today with me, we're going to be talking about making Duda's AI capabilities work for you. And so obviously AI is the hot conversation in town, as it should be, because it's really not overhyped. It is actually that useful. So today we have Abigail Lewin, who is the scale product leader at Duda. And we have Joshua Neymark, who is the CEO of Fix8 Media, who has 24 years of experience, built 2,000 websites and counting, and primarily, maybe exclusively, uses the Duda platform. So I'm extremely excited to hear from these two today. Abigail, I've met in person. Josh, I don't remember if we met in person, but both of them are extremely efficient in what they do. And I'm really excited to have an open conversation about what's in the pipeline and what Duda is working on when it comes to AI with an agency owner's perspective. So Abigail, I'll leave it up to you now, and we can get started.
Great. So really happy to be here and give everybody watching a perspective and a deep dive into how we think about the features that we build, and understand a little bit more behind the scenes in the way that we work, and also for Josh to tell us about how the features have actually impacted his agency and overall. So first, just a little bit of background on how we decide to build our AI features. I'm sure all of you come across AI, not just using the Duda platform, in tons of different tools that you are using out there. The first thing that we hear from our agencies is you want to scale. Everyone is telling us we want to build more sites faster. But we're also hearing from agencies how much control you want on things. You want to make sure that ultimately you have that human touch, but also control over all changes that you have on a website, from the design, from the content, from the layout, whatever it might be. And these are real quotes from probably some of you who are with us today, giving us feedback on actually how you experience AI across the market. But then you have your SMBs, and what are they looking for? They're looking for actual results. They don't care how fast you do things or how slow you do things, as long as you are getting things done for them and bringing the results of more web traffic, more high quality leads, a faster website, SEO performance. But most of the website builders on the market are just focusing on that speed, not focusing on that performance. So what is a website in 30 seconds if it's not delivering on that promise that you are actually providing to your customers? And that's how we really think about things. So if we look on the market, you can build more sites faster. Quality, often questionable, and control is definitely not something that you have in 30 seconds, getting from A to Z. Probably you're not able to really define exactly the result that you are getting. So let's talk about how we bring all that in order to build productivity tools to fit your needs. So again, productivity and speed are important to you. And I'm not just saying this. This is from talking to tons of different agencies, all the feedback that we get on all the features that we build from before the big AI hype and afterwards. But you know exactly what it takes to get your clients what they need. And that is high quality results that actually perform. And the reality of the situation is that doesn't happen in the click of a button. So the way that we think about AI and the way that we build our strategy is a very agency-centric strategy. It's focusing on optimizing your unique skills to help you differentiate from the competition and deliver on your promise to your clients, which is high-performing sites, but making sure that you are able to do that at scale.
Yeah, Abigail, before we continue, I want to just ask Josh a couple questions here based on what you just mentioned. Josh has made 2,000 plus websites, which is an extremely large amount of sites when you think about it. Josh, when it comes to making the websites, do you agree with all of this, or what are you seeing in the field from your clients of what they expect out of the sites you're building?
Yeah, no, I would concur with most of what was on that slide as kind of the desires that folks are having. Our clients are always looking for more value and more product, right? More feature-rich product. So yeah, I would absolutely concur with the sentiment. Personally at Fixate, speed wasn't always as big of a consideration for us. It's become more of a consideration now, but we're able to offer our clients far more value by utilizing AI in different components of the build, from content to SEO. Absolutely.
And do you think that AI is going to be able to make a website from scratch? We saw on the slide there, it said build a website in 30 seconds with AI, which is an excessively big pitch to somebody. What are your thoughts about AI potentially making a website on its own?
I think that it will be able to make certain types of websites on their own. I don't know if it would personally make a Fixate website the way that we want to deliver them, but I think that for many people out there, they could get some semblance of a website they want. But personally, I think that it is a resource and a partner in the work that we're doing now, rather than a replacement for our people. Yeah. So we really use it to complement our services more and offer more value. But have we picked up speed? Oh yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Now, Abigail, tell us how it's going to actually complement the agency's work with the AI tools that you're going to mention.
Yeah, Josh's angle is one side of things. When you talk about more speed, you're talking about the opportunity to add more value. So it's not necessarily just more websites, more clients, but it's also delivering more value for a single client. You have more time to work on other things that they're asking for, and more volume for that specific client overall. So we see a lot of our different agencies taking it in other ways, providing more services, providing more robust websites, and other agencies who are just building more websites and taking on more clients. So it definitely opens up tons of different opportunities. Great. So now we'll jump into some of the features that we have. And I hope those of you who have already checked out the Duda platform are familiar and using these features. But those of you who haven't, we'll just go through a quick overview of what you can do with AI in the platform today. Starting with our content assistant, which allows you to do everything from generate content from scratch, or one of our even more popular actions is improve different writing that you have in the platform. Whether you want to make content shorter, longer, or improve the language that you used, it's a super fast, quick way to do that in order to get the result that you're looking for.
And Josh, I don't know if you would agree with me on that, but the value in that is not having to leave the platform to actually change text, increase it, and do some things like that. So yeah, really cool feature. Are you utilizing that now?
Yeah, we are. And I will say that historically, since I started building sites in 1998, content has always been the major holdup in finishing a project. And so we very routinely use it now to assist our clients in getting them to a point where they can at least edit it, and then we can get their sites live. So yeah, we are using it within the system every day, pretty much every one of the resources that Fixate does.
And do you have clients, another question is, do you have clients that actually are concerned, or they ask if you use AI, and how do you answer that?
It's come up less so than I think I anticipated it would, but we offer two different types of service. So for example, on the SEO or content creation side, you can hire Tina and our team to collaborate with you, have multiple meetings, do lots of research, and write that content for you. Not everybody can afford that service, nor does everybody need that service necessarily, right? And so for those other clients, it's an option and it doesn't cost as much, right? So it's increasing our speed, it's delivering the client better value, and it's increasing profitability all around the board. So
yeah, and I think, as you said, it's opening up opportunities for more clients to get involved with you. So your budgets, I'm sure, are in line with that. Abigail, this is a question for you. While we're on this slide, I do want to talk about this because it's definitely something that a lot of us think about, us as in agencies. I want to highlight Jared's question because it's a really, really good one. He said, with Content Assistant, does it or will it have the capability to learn the voice of that particular site? If not, will it get there one day?
Yeah. So every site has what we call an AI business profile, which allows you to define the category of business, a description of that business that should be unique to that specific website. It shouldn't be something that's the same for all of your different sites, even if they are in the same business vertical. So that will allow you to define the unique selling points of that business. And you can also, of course, choose the tone of voice as well. And we continue to add more fields there. So you can further customize that specific profile. And that is used across all of our AI features for that site. So it's something you just need to fill in once. And once you did that, we take it into consideration in all of the content that we generate.
Mm-hmm. And continuing on that topic, if you don't mind, first things first, I want to give a shout out to Rival Mind. They also make some really beautiful Duda websites. And shout out from Jared. He's in Baton Rouge. And tell us where you're from. I'd love to get a perspective of who's watching. But Abigail, to touch on that, and I think Josh as well, since you work directly with the SMB themselves, Creative Agency asked, will this content rank poorly on Google being AI generated? I think that's a concern that a lot of agencies have when they're working with their clients. So I'd love both of your perspectives on that.
Yeah, so Google themselves, they have their own AI models. They are allowing you to generate content using their tools as well. And they have actually come out with a statement where what they want to make sure is that you do have that human touch, but that you're generating people first content. So you're not just generating content to have words on a page, but you are generating content that is focused on actual people. And it doesn't matter what the source of that content is. So whether the content is AI generated or written by a human, they treat it the same way. Maybe Josh, if you have something, you want to add there.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I would also say that for many of our clients that normally in the past wouldn't be able to afford or want to spend the money on our SEO services, we're using the AI SEO services just to simply deliver a better product, right? Mm-hmm. So they're getting it and they're getting more, but is it exactly the same as what a human being might create? No. But I also want to say that we don't just let it generate the content without a human being reviewing it all and tweaking it, because I think it gets most things right and most things better than right a lot of time. But there's a few things that it doesn't always get exact. So I think that you have to put your eyes on it. And the other thing that I would say is, garbage in, garbage out, right? The better you make those prompts, the more detailed, the more efficient, right? The better results you're going to get. So I would say that if you are going to use these tools, try to spend some time learning how to get the most out of it rather than just putting something in and having expectations going to do it all correctly. It's a partnership with the tool.
Excellent. Abigail, back over to you. I'm sure AI isn't just for content. So let's keep going.
So expanding on our content assistant is our section assistant, which allows you to generate a full section of a site. So that will be multiple different text widgets, the images that are in that section itself, and it can be a section of any different category that you choose, whether it be a hero section for your site with a large heading, or it can be a services section that's going into detail of each of the different services that you're offering. So it's a great time saver to, take that content assistant to the next level. So something I wanted to share with you today is how high the adoption rate is for our high tier accounts. So we're talking accounts that are already at a level of scale, but they've come in and you can see the growth that we've seen of the adoption rate, that we're at such a high rate right now. Some of them, of course, are using one or two of our AI features. Some of using all of our AI features. But what we see is this really has an impact on a business, whether that be a small business or a very large scale business overall. So now I want to jump over to a feature we recently released, which is our page builder, and just share a little bit of love that we got on it. And if you haven't tried it out, definitely take a jump in there, because our customers are saying themselves, really speeding up their process makes their life easier. And basically this just allows you to get in a single view, build out the structure of a page overall. And coming very soon will be the addition of AI into the page builder. So what you can do is choose your different layouts, move layouts up and down, change the order, and you'll be able to generate the content for the entire page. So again, it's about taking that content assistant, building onto the section assistant, and now you have an entire page in a much faster way than you could have done otherwise. So now we'll jump into optimization with AI. Definitely some of our biggest hit features overall, where we see our agencies, you're selling SEO, you're selling performance. And with the help of AI, you're able to provide what you need at a much faster pace. So we have meta tag generation, which allows you to generate all of the meta tags for a site in a click of a button. So you can see there all of the pages that you have, and you're able to generate all of the titles and descriptions in a single click. And what we're doing there is we're making sure that we're giving the context of that page in order to make sure we are generating titles that are specific to the content of the page. We're not keeping it high level. So going back to that question we had in the chat earlier, it's really about the content on the site that are going to create those high quality meta tags for you. And image alt text, same idea. What you're able to do is in bulk for the entire website in a single click, you can generate all of the alt text for all of the images across your site. And it's a super great way to speed up time. What we've seen is more than 8,000 agency hours were saved over a 6-month period just from the alt text feature alone.
Yeah, and I think those two features are so amazing because of two different reasons. One is the AI is getting better. So every single time AI introduces a new model or it gets cheaper, I would imagine Duda's engineering team is staying up to date with that to make sure that the results are even better. Because I know with the page scan thing, that was difficult to do with the old models, but because new models are coming out, the product's just going to keep getting better and better and better. So Josh, 8,000 hours is a lot of time. The way I look at that is if I charge $200 an hour and now I can save time automating with technology, that means I'm getting more money for my time, but ultimately as well, the client's getting the same amount of value. So I'm curious to know how you save time and how that accumulated up to 8,000 hours and what you use now to save your clients' time.
Yeah. So on the SEO front, using these tools built right inside of Duda is allowing us to do 2x to 2.5x the productivity that one individual can do on our team. So it's savings and efficiency. But, you know, in 6 months, if we build 1,300 and change hours per month, that's 300 hours per week divided by 5 resources. They're each billing 65, 66 hours a week. But that's more than they're working because now we're using the AI tools to become more efficient. So I would also say that the alt text tool, while I know that may not be that meaningful to everybody, that is the one area that nobody in my career has ever really wanted to go back and take the time to do. And not only is it amazing and works great, we're able to go back to sites now for sites we've already launched and give them that uptick in performance and SEO and accessibility. And so our clients are very, very impressed when we show them. We raise our hands up and say, just watch the screen, and boom, they have all their alt text taken care of. So we are using this in every project at this point to make sure that we're building the cleanest sites. And now we're putting together a strategy to go back to all of our past clients who didn't have these tools and offer them to them, because we have many sophisticated clients and partner clients who would very easily be able to watch a small tutorial and use these tools on their own to keep our sites healthy.
Now, Fixate Media is interesting because from my understanding, clients potentially have access to parts of their website, or you give them access to the reporting features or other features that they can edit themselves, etc. Do you think that the agency of the future is going to enable their clients with these kinds of AI tools? And if so, why do you believe that?
We already are doing that at Fixate. We are giving these tools to certain clients, as long as we can train them and so forth properly. But I think at the end of the day, people who want to pay for human services will still pay for human services, and people who want AI or don't want to spend the money on the human services will have this option. So I don't really see it as a conflict at Fixate at all. I see it as we've got more to offer the world now, and we can make better websites more quickly. So I don't really see it as something that we would ever not want to offer. We want to offer it, and we want to be very transparent with what we're offering, right? We're proud of these tools.
Agreed. Now, Abigail, this is kind of a question for you. Maybe a question that I have. Talents into Profits mentioned that alt text feature is good, but it will only suggest based on the name of the file to make sure that you name the PNG file you use. Now, if you're doing this work, you should name everything because you should try to be as organized as possible. Abigail, I'd like to ask you a question about the technology that you're using to actually get the result of the alt text feature. Does it use the file name, or does it do it a little bit differently?
Yeah, so we actually analyze the image itself, of course, with the help of AI. Like you mentioned, naming the file is important for other purposes, but for the sake of the alt text generation feature, it's the content in the image itself.
And that makes, go ahead, Josh.
I was just going to say, I've been testing it quite a bit. It's 95% accurate every time. And it has nothing to do with the file name. It is literally looking at the picture and says, woman in purple blouse smiling at camera. Boom. Like it's pretty perfect. It's pretty perfect.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean you should file the name. You should title the file anyways, just to be organized.
Absolutely.
But from an accessibility standpoint, that's what somebody's going to want. They're going to want the image being described exactly how it is so they can envision what it is. So AI is a huge conversation in the accessibility world, which I'm sure Duda will talk about in a later date. But yeah, that's interesting. 8,000 agency hours. In my head, I hear more revenue, more value to the client, and they are ensured that they're working with the company that is the agency of the future that understands this stuff. So Abigail, back over to you.
Great. So now we'll jump over to our SEO overview. And this is basically an area that helps you to audit your site to make sure you're following best practices. So it incorporates those features that we just saw, but it highlights any issues that you might have in a single place, whether that be missing meta tags, missing alt text, or other issues such as missing open graph information. And it gives you shortcuts in order to fill in those gaps in pretty much the click of a button in most cases. So that's also, a great way to save time on things. And I'm also very excited to introduce what some of you may have seen in our keynote, but we want to talk about it again here, which is coming soon, which is our link checker. So again, we're talking about summarizing all of the links that you have on the site in a single place. And showing you any broken links that you have, whether that be external links, internal links, and you'll get a quick shortcut into the editor itself to give that a quick fix. So that's going to be a huge time saver, we think, and we already have some customers who are testing it out, and that will be coming pretty soon for everyone as well.
Now, quick question for Josh. How are you doing that now? I'd love to understand how your agency is checking for broken links now, because that's a huge SEO ranking factor.
Yeah, when I was actually going to mention that for agencies that might not be at the place where they're purchasing subscriptions like SEMrush or other tools that can do this for them, it's quite amazing that this is now included in the Duda platform. I mean, it's more and more business in a box. You don't need other things. So we have had SEMrush accounts for a long time, and we still do, but we have been migrating to using the Duda tools for these specific tasks more and more over the last month, probably. I don't know for us if it's going to be a total replacement yet, but if these features continue to develop the way that they seem to be, I imagine we won't need to buy outside SEO services in the future soon.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense being in the content management system itself, because that's the actual website itself. So why not have these tools read it directly there? So really cool feedback on there. Abigail, back over to you. Oh, Josh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to also say that if you make sure you're taking advantage of all of the Duda inputs, business information, all of these things that AI and the business profile are looking at, you likely are going to get better results doing it in the platform, because SEMrush can't see the business information in the back end of the site. So things like that, I think, are more beneficial to do within the platform. Yeah.
Sure. All right. So talking about what's coming next, in addition to the link checker. So you're already building better, smarter, and faster in the Duda platform. And this is what we're focused on all the time in my group within our R&D team. And so what do we want to focus on next? And that is helping you plan your site in a much smarter way, in a very streamlined way that's going to be deeply connected to the build phase of the site itself. So I'm sure a lot of you are doing a lot of work before you're actually getting into the editor. And we want to help you do that. We want to help you connect it more deeply with the build phase overall. So the first thing in that area are our AI-powered page recommendations, which are available to many of you already today. And this helps with content ideation. So the idea is that we can help you come up with different pages that you want to add to the site. It might be if you're starting out from scratch, or we can also give you recommendations for pages that you might be missing in order to help you rank better. And we use this information to also help you later on in the process in order to build out the layouts and the content of the pages themselves. And the next area in the planning that we're very excited to be launching in the near future is our upgraded content collection form. So I don't think that there is an agency out there that hasn't told us that content collection is one of the more challenging areas of the process that you have with the client, the back and forth, making sure you get that information that you need. So what we'll be doing is we're going to be launching a much upgraded version of our content collection form. It's going to be much more interactive to help your customers give you the information that you need. And it's also going to be mobile friendly, helping you get those responses on the go, catch your customer wherever they are, and not force them to sit down at a desktop computer in order to give you the information that you need.
I could not be more excited about all of these tools coming, by the way.
Yeah, Josh, how are you collecting content now?
We pay for Content Snare, I think $79 a month for up to 50 open surveys at a time. So this could, again, replace another software that we're paying an external third party for. Yeah, so that's how we do it now. And we have actually specific forms depending on the project, but we pay another third party for that as well.
Okay, and are you consistently sending that kind of stuff out to get more context for the websites you're making and the content that you're adding and doing the ongoing SEO?
Yeah, so we have a number of forms. For any project, there's the Let's Get Started form. If we're doing SEO work, there's an SEO onboarding. If we're doing social media, there's a social onboarding form. That system actually reminds and prompts the client to complete it, which is kind of handy. So once it's complete, then we have what we need to start the kickoff call with the project and the client. Yeah.
Nice. And we got a question here going back to the link checker. Abigail, I want to definitely do this before we move forward. Merrick Development, and first and foremost, shout out to Merrick Development, said, is link checker going to be available in blog posts also? A lot of SEO companies, they'll internally link on the blog because they want to make sure that there's relevancy there. So is this something that's also going to be able to check the blog pages as well?
Yeah, so we will be checking all of the links across the site. I do see in the chat we do have some requests for other things that are not necessarily planned in the first stages, but we are expanding all of the link checker capabilities as we go forward. But at the beginning, we're definitely going to have the blog posts included there.
Yeah, because there's nothing worse than a client finding broken links on a website. It makes them feel like you're not paying attention to them, which is going to lower your relationship with the client. But Abigail, back over to you.
Great. And just one thing, as Josh mentioned, the benefit of content collection built into the platform is having everything in one place, but it's also that deep connection that we're going to build in with the build phase itself. Everything in one place, but extremely streamlined. All of that information will help you in the later phases, in the audit, in the content creation, etc. as well. So now we'll jump into site generation built for flexibility and speed. At the beginning, we talked about control. We talked about how we build our AI features, and we didn't jump into generating an entire site in the click of a button because we want to understand how you use AI features, what you expect from them, and how you can have that control at each phase of the process. But now the time is here. Coming later this year, we're going to have the ability to generate an entire site, and I'll show you how that's going to look. So this is with an agency in mind. So we're talking about generating the starting point for you. Again, the human touch, the control. So you'll be able to fill in the information about the business. In order to do that, you'll have the contact information. We're not talking about you filling in 1-2 fields and having an entire site. You do have a process there in order to get the result that you need, whether it be the colors based on off of the logo from the business, the font families that you want to use, you'll have different choices. And then, of course, you have those page recommendations. Included in those page recommendations, the ability to define the keywords for each of those pages. So when we generate the content of the site, we're already keeping the keywords, the SEO in mind. And then you'll jump into the editor. And you do have the site in the page builder itself. But what's great here is you're in our page builder, which allows you to have that control. So you have this first version, and now what you can do is you can swap out sections for other sections. You can change the layouts. You can change content for one area. You can change just images. You can really choose to get the exact results that you want and have that control that we're talking about earlier. And we do see that the future is with AI, but we want to make sure that you have control over the result that you are delivering to your client.
All right. Thank you, Abigail. And thank you, Josh, so much for delivering this session. It has been a pleasure speaking with you. If you're watching, do not go anywhere, because that's a perfect transition into what we're going to be talking about next, building the next web generation of websites. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to day 3 of DudaCon. This is session 2. We are talking about building the next generation of websites. And in this session, we are going to discover the latest in website design with workshop of Duda's Editor 2.0 and seeing how leading agencies and SaaS platforms are building high converting sites. Now, if you're watching and you're listening, you want to make more money. Your clients want to make more money. They all want to get more results from the websites that you're already selling, and that they want to use that money to go travel the world or raise a family or do whatever it is that they want to do. And design is a huge component of that. Today, Ron, who is the website product leader at Duda, and Anath, who is a UI design leader at Duda. And they have some exciting design things they're going to talk with us today. And I will give them a chance to go ahead and introduce themselves, and then we will get right into the content.
Yeah, so hi, Brad. Hi, guys. Nice to be in this session. I'm a product leader at Duda. I'm responsible for the core product of Duda, the editor, as you can imagine, after what Ruan said. And I'm very excited to be here and to show you some cool stuff.
All right, thanks, Lyra. And Anath, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Do you hear me?
We do. We hear you loud and clear.
Yes. Amazing. So I'm Anath. I'm the UI design lead here in Duda. I'm building and designing template for 7 years now in the platform. So I'm kind of the expert of how to build efficient and fast and with great design.
Absolutely. And design is one of those things where it's always subjective, but people know what looks good when they see it. So I'm really excited on seeing what you think looks good and actually getting a overview of the platform itself, the new Editor 2.0, which DevelopMark, our agency, has been using a lot, and we love it. So I'm going to go ahead and have us get right into the slides of designing stunning websites that get results, because people often forget we have a website to get results. It's not there for just no reason. We have to have a performance goal behind it. So we're going to go ahead and put up the slides there, and then we can get through the actual content. So I will let you guys go.
Thank you. So I'll share my slide as promised. Wait. So, design stunning website. Why? Because in the end, this is what gives us the results, right? Our SMBs want people to leave a link, purchase, come to their site, see how amazing their company is. And it's a lot. The design have a big part in it. So a quick question. What do all these have in common? Minimalism, bold photography, micro animations, mobile first design. I'm sure you all have the answer. They all part of today's most popular design trends. And as in fashion, and when it comes to food and sport, when we talk about design, we are talking about trends that are constantly changing. And we are in Duda committed to help you to stay ahead of it. And why? Because it's important. It's important to the conversion of the site. It's important because your SMB is it. And before I talk a little bit about how SMB thinks about their design, I can share with you that also in Duda, we are keep trying to add to the game. You can see here an example of an old templates that we have and how we redesign it according to this latest trends. I'm talking about the the size of the font, the contrast between the text and the background, the size of the images. You see that in the header we now have 3 columns that combine data, image, and text. So we also do all those things that we are going to talk about in our platform to give you the best templates using the latest trends. You can't hear me?
Liran, we can hear you a little bit, but you're breaking up just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm hearing myself twice.
Anat, do you want to go through the presentation?
I can do my my demo, but
Well, let's before we are talking about how much important is design for SMBs, and I really want to share with you some cool stuff that we are going to build based on on top of Editor 2.0 in the future. Anat will show you a short demo on how she is building cool stuff on Editor 2.0. That's Anat moves to you and try to fix it.
Okay.
all right.
Thank you, Liran.
All right, so I'm going to start presenting. All right. Okay. Do you all see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. All right. So this is a site I have built on Figma. Okay. This is a site for a studio of like sport classes. So it's let's say that it's a website that is like kind of trendy with like bold fonts and colors. And it's a design that is like trendy right now and not complicated to reproduce now on Duda and very easy with Flex. So here is how we are going to start. So I just want to focus on, sorry, I'm going to show this again, these sections, okay? All right. So the beginning of my site is already built, and I'm going to start and add here an empty section, okay? In this empty section, I have columns. I can add columns. I can delete columns. I can add as many columns as I want and delete them. So for the first design that I want to do, I'm going to leave the 3 columns. I can also decide on the space between these columns if I want more or less space between them. So the first thing that I'm going to do to reproduce the design that I want, I'm going to start with my first column. So here I have a white background, okay? And in this white background, I'm going to scroll down and start having a corner radius of 20 pixels. And I'm going to add a padding inside of my column just to create a little bit of spacing around my content. I'm going to add 3%. And I'm going to start adding some content inside. So first of all, I have an image. Okay, so my first image is this one. I can also add a little bit of round corners in there. And I can make this image a little bit smaller if I want. So I'm not restricted, and I can really like either keep proportion or create like the size that I want in this image. I'm gonna add a title. All right, and I'm gonna add a paragraph and a button. And lastly, a button. Okay. All right, button will be secondary, and okay. So here I have the option of alignment. Okay, so I'm gonna make on purpose this bigger just to show you. So for here, I have my content vertical aligned in the middle, but I could have my content vertical aligned on the top or on the bottom, or space between or space around. So I have these options now. I can also have my content aligned center, right or left. In this case, we're gonna leave left, and I can also create space between my content. Okay. So, but the thing that I want to reproduce here, what we usually have in sections, if I start duplicating this one, I'm gonna just remove this column, and suddenly I have more text here. Let's copy this. Well, my button here is here, and the other button is below. And I want my buttons to be always aligned below. So for that, I can simply have and use inner, I can simply use inner columns. So I'm going to use that. I'm going just to add an inner column. And in this inner column, I'm going to drag and drop, move my picture, my title, and here my paragraph. And then I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to set a space between. So when I'll shrink my inner column, all the content will be aligned. It will create space between them. And then I'm going to the column level, and I'm going to say, don't set the vertical align to top, but set it to space between. This means that no matter what amount of content I have, my button will always be sticky in here. All right. So this is one first thing that I want to show you. I can definitely duplicate, but the design that I'm trying to reproduce here is a bit different. I want to show you how to do this. So this is a bit different. Why? Because we have content that is horizontal align, and we have this option. We can switch the column to be horizontal instead of vertical. Okay, but in here I just need to change some rules. So instead of having my image in here, I'm gonna put this out. I'm gonna add my button here inside. I'm gonna move my image next to it. And here, I'm gonna set everything to the top. I have the same, here I have the same question here, where I always want my button to be aligned to the bottom. So what do I do in this case? I can add another level of inner column in here. So I can just have an inner column in here and add here my title and my description. And inside of this inner column level, I can just make sure it's aligned with space between. And here, I can always go here to the tree of the layers and make sure that everything is aligned. I can either do that, or I can also say, I want to fix padding, I want to fix margin between them. I can also go and do something like this. So I have two options, the option of having vertical or horizontal. So this is what I want here. Once I'm happy with what I have, I'm just going to create, sorry, just a second. I'm just going to fix in here the paddings. All right. And then I'm going to move breakpoints just to make sure that it looks good on all breakpoints. So if I move to this breakpoint, I can already see that the design doesn't look good here. So I have two options. One option is to say, okay, I'm going to change the layout of my section to be like this. And I can make this smaller. Okay. Or I can decide to leave it like that, but I'm going to change here the direction in my column. Yeah. All right. And I also can make my image look smaller. I can also fix some of the padding in here. All right. And if I'm happy with the design that I just did, I can move to mobile. Mobile is the same issue. So I'm gonna set to horizontal align, and gonna make sure everything is aligned in here. I'm just going to play a little bit with the spacings. I can also make the image look smaller, and maybe I'm gonna add more inner spacing in here. All right, so I did all the 3 breakpoints. Now I'm just going to duplicate and simply change, replace the image, replace the text.
Enough. They want you to be their AI assistant for building future sites. And I've got to tell you from experience using the editor 1.0 religiously, this is extremely helpful. You showing us behind the scenes here. So many tips that I just want to call out that you just did that I don't think are possible with the first editor.
No.
Which, by the way, the way that we know that Anath is in the editor 2.0 is the crown. So that's how I know you're using the new version. But one of my biggest takeaways you just did is you fixed the breakpoints before duplicating the column, which is huge, because we have problems with that all the time. So continue, please.
Yeah, this is really a tip. And also you saw that I have 2 sections of 2 columns. So I'm just going to copy and paste. So I really save a lot of time. And then here I'm going to set my spacing to 0. So I'm going to make sure that I have 4 here. I have 4 to be even. All right. And then I just need now to replace my image. So here I have this one and my text. I'm not going to do everything, but this is the idea. So when you go in preview and you switch breakpoints, everything looks fine.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Anath, thank you so much. I know you have a lot more to show us, but looking at what you just did with the columns and the automatic centering and the automatic alignments, the vertical, the horizontal, changing the breakpoints, I can already see a bunch of opportunity for agencies to deliver better design really to their existing clients. I'm curious about what's coming in the future, though. I'm sure there's a lot more that we can talk about with the Editor 2.0. I'm going to have Liran pick it back up and tell us a little bit about the different things that are coming in the future, in the exact near future.
Of course.
Yeah. And I'll try not to move a lot, and I hope you hear me well now. Maybe this is the future. So you saw this amazing editor, and it's not only an amazing editor that you can do a lot of things in and you have a lot of features, it's also like a really strong structure that we can build on, and we can, I want to say, make your dreams come true. So for example, if we are talking about building more interactive sites like animations, right? So we are going to add much more creative design tools. I'm talking about more parallax options and more hover effects, and to be able to link a column and a sections to a different elements. So we understand that animations have a big part of creating a site that is more convert. And now on Editor 2.0, we are not only have the option to link animation to different widgets, but we also have the able to link different animations to different, what we call building blocks, the column, the section, the inner column, the advanced grid. I don't think that I need to say anymore when the slides say mega menu, right? So as I said, now we have a strong structure. At what you can see in the video, you can see that we actually took the navigation widget, we linked it to a section, and now you have all the power that you have in a flex section linked into a mega menu, and it creates a link into the navigation widget, and it creates a real flexible mega menu. So if I want to change, for example, the background of one of the columns, I can just do it very, very easily. I don't need to learn another widget. I don't need to wait to do that, to add more design options. I just need to learn how sections, columns, inner columns work, and just use all the features, all the capabilities, all the design options that we are giving to control a beautiful mega menu. Another thing that we can do with our building blocks right now is to design to build what we call smart layout. So imagine a slider. Okay, today a lot of you asking from us to have the option to add one more image, or to control the alignment between the image and the text, or maybe you want 2 buttons, or maybe you want each slide to look different. Now, when we have Editor 2.0, and we have those strong building blocks, we have those columns and inner columns, we can add more power to those building blocks and allow you to create much more flexible elements, widgets like slider, like tabs, like accordion. Think what we will be able to do in the future with Contact Us, for example. But sometimes we want everything to look the same, right? We don't want to design features for you and then make you work double hard than you worked before. So this is where the repeater is coming. The repeater is actually a flex element that connects to a collection. And now I can create a slider where all the slides are actually one slide that repeats itself. So I can change the image, I can change the text, I can change the color. But if I want to add another button, if I want to add another image, or maybe to add another widget inside, it will duplicate itself automatically to all the slides. And I think that when we look at the future and we look at the combinations, first we can see all the amazing stuff that we can build now with Editor 2.0. So we work really hard just to allow you all the features that you love from the classic editor. But now we are starting to develop on top of it. Now we have the option to allow you so many cool stuff. But we are also, you see a combination between design flexibility, between convert sites, like with animations and stuff, and with thinking about you and the efficiency. So we understand that you want this option to duplicate stuff, to change everything at once in one click. And this is also something that leads us when we think about, the new features that we want to develop. So yeah, this is what Editor 2.0 allow us to do. You want to hear more? You want to see more from Anat, or you want to ask us something?
Thanks, Liren. I want to point a couple things out here that you just shared that the comments are clearly resonating with. First one that I want Anat to kind of answer, because I have had this confusion too in the past. Deborah Watkins, if we could put the comment up there, she said she's confused. Does she have to use Figma and Editor 2.0, or is it a standalone feature in Duda itself?
No, you don't have to use Figma. I personally use Figma because I design in Figma. I want to see the result of what I'm going to build. And then I start building, but you don't need Figma. You can directly build on the editor if that's what you are doing. And it's easier, by the way, because it allows you more design flexibility that you add in the classic editor, which is closer to Figma in some kind of way. Mm-hmm.
And our designers love that. And the next comment I want to just give a quick thought on is Jared's comment. He put mega menu, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Is this a dream? And that's exactly how I feel about that feature, because working with local clients and as an agency that does SEO, a lot of the times you're adding a lot of web pages on their website, and they want to see all of those pages available in the menu because they offer so many different services. So I would imagine Jared's excited because his clients have a lot of pages on their website and they want it to be on there. Exactly. Like a plumber may want all of their services neatly available in a mega menu. So we're really excited about that. And the animations. We're really excited about the animations as an agency because our clients, they expect more from the websites we make, and they just make them funner to play with. So I too am really excited about that as well. So Anat, I'll kick it back over to you to go back into the design presentation. I was learning a lot as you were doing that, and so I can't wait to share this with my team.
Great. I'm really happy that it helps. So I'm going back to my site where we have built our sections. And now I'm going to jump to the last part where you have overlapping images. So, and to answer the question that someone asked earlier, so no, I don't really need it. I could have imagined it inside of the editor. So I just added an empty section, and then I'm going to set the background color to be this beige. And then I'm going to design firstly the part of the overlapping images. So here on my section, I want to make sure I have enough spacing. Just notice, like a small design tips, spacing, having padding in section is very important. You don't want your content to be too tight, and it's more readable. Then I have my spacing, and I'm going to add to my column here something called advanced grid. And in this advanced grid, I will add an image. So this time I want my image to keep proportion and to be 100%. So the advanced grid allow me to have elements and to place them very freely wherever I want. So I don't have the same alignment option exactly, but all of the elements are independent. So here I'm gonna take my image and I'm gonna make sure it's like aligned to the top. And on top of these images, I'm gonna add another images, and you'll see it's going on the top of it. So I just forgot something here. I wanna add round corners. Same for here, for the second image. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I keep proportion. All right, so I have two images, and as you can see, I can place my element wherever I want, which is not the case here. So my element here is not placeable wherever I want. I need to fix it from here. Why do I do that? I need to make sure that across the breakpoint, everything will look good and will fit like properly. So here, in this kind of design, I want to make something that is a bit out of the box. So I'm going to grab my, my little image here, and I'm going to overlap it in here. All right. This is for my first column. And then in my second column, I'm going to add a title. That will be H2. And a paragraph. And lastly, I'm going to add an accordion widget. Okay. So my accordion widget comes with the settings that I added in the theme, yeah? So I just need to design it to fit my design here. So I'm going to select here this. And I'm going to fix a little things. I'm going to change H3 to be H5, right? And then I'm going to go to expansion icon, and I'm going to set it to orange. Can make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to set the bottom border color to be orange as well. And then when I manage the accordion, I can start changing my content, decide if I do want an image or not. Here, I don't want an image, and I don't need a button. Okay. So I can just delete that and maybe duplicate this and just change the content. And lastly, this one. All right. Okay. Once done, I'm going to move across the breakpoint. So I'm going to move to the tablet. As I can see in tablet, it looks weird. It looks weird because maybe the font is too big. Okay, and I can change that. I can go into H2 and make the font, the title smaller, and it won't impact the desktop. They have two different theme settings, but if I decide to leave it as is because I want bolder font because it's really trendy, I can decide just to make a different design in here that won't affect other breakpoint, which is different layout. So if I have this different layout, maybe this is really big. So I'm going to go and make small changes. So here, my image, I'm going to make this image a little bit big, a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to take this. Maybe I want to put it here. All right. And then it looks much better. And maybe I also want the text to be on top of the image. I can just switch it with like clicking on the arrows here. So if I go back to the desktop, nothing has moved. And when I'm going to the tablet, it's clear and it's better. And then for the mobile, it's the same. I can just take the image, make the design that I want, maybe make this a little bit smaller, maybe have this above. And that's it. You're all set. So we have built this kind of landing page very fast, without like only a few clicks and a few detailed arrangement on the breakpoint. And we have a very nice site, trendy, bold, and like we like.
Now, a couple questions for you that's coming from the audience, but also myself. R.Designs asks, and this is a great question because we've had a lot of conversations at our agency about breakpoints. Do you find it more efficient to design a page on desktop first, then move through the breakpoints, or work in sections?
What do you mean work in? You mean sections per breakpoint?
That's what I.
Yeah. So I think definitely that it's better to work section per section to breakpoint. But if we have elements like I showed, that I'm going to share my screen again. If we have these kind of element, we're not going to wait for the entire section to be built, but maybe we want to go over the breakpoint before, just to make sure that we can just duplicate and then, replace image and text, and we're done. So it saves a lot of time. Yeah.
Now, when you mentioned the tablet breakpoint is different
Yes.
than the desktop, is the mobile different as well?
Yeah, definitely. So you have here in the theme, mostly for the font size, it's different. For the background color is different, and alignment, sizes, yeah.
So
Layout.
as you're adjusting the theme on the device screen you're seeing, that's adjusting it only for that breakpoint.
Yes, I mean, if we're talking about the font size, not the font family or colors, but the font size, the button font size, and the background color of the page as well is different per breakpoint.
That's interesting. Now, one other question that Joseph had that I want to just really clarify here as well,
Yeah.
and really just kind of talk about it again, because you mentioned using the advanced grid,
Yeah.
and just make sure that we clarify the differences between the advanced grid versus a normal column per se.
Okay, so here it's a great example of the difference. So what I have in my, maybe it's just a bit bigger, so I'm gonna make this a bit smaller so you can really feel the difference, just for the example. So the difference between between the flex column and the advanced grid is that the column here, you're gonna place your every element, text, or whatever widget is going to be aligned according to the content alignment of the column in here. Okay. Also individually, you can do it per element, but it goes like all together. You also have the flexibility of having space between. It's much more structured. It's helping you create like something that is like more correct, and won't confuse you across the breakpoint. And also you have the vertical alignment, which is something that we didn't have before. And that helps you also to place all of your content in a correct way, so it will look good on all the breakpoints when you move breakpoints. This is for the flex column, which is the regular column. Now, if you want go and do something more wild and have overlapping of elements, maybe text that overlap an image, which is also something that is possible, we can make an example here. I can take my text. I might change the color of the text. Yeah, it's possible as long as it's inside the advanced grid. So it needs to be used in, you have to think about it before, and it needs to be used like wisely and for like design that are a bit like different from the regular text and button and image.
And that's a really great point that you bring up too, because a significant amount of people in here were saying that you make it look really easy to do, as professionals often make things look. How do you start with when you make a page like this? I mean, I know you came up with the prototype in Figma, and now you've actually knew what to build right away when you got in here. So people thought you did it really quickly, but really you started with an idea. Walk us through a little bit how that idea turns into the actual Duda design.
So the idea from the beginning is having, obviously, and I assume that you have that with your clients, but having some kind of a brief of what is the business you're going to build a site for. What are the targets? Like, this is more of what you have to do before start building, but you have to have an idea of what you're going to build, obviously, whether it's a plumber or it's a fitness studio. And then once you have that, what I'm usually doing is I'm looking for inspiration. I'm just looking around and saying, okay, what kind of color I can use, what kind of fonts I can use. I want to make things look great and bold. And mostly, most important things that you need to have is good images. So I know that usually clients, they don't always deliver like the best images because they don't have it. So you can always propose them to have like images from Pexels. We have a library in Duda that allow to have a lot of images from free stock images. So this is also something you can propose, and having strong image like really make the site looks better. So yeah, and the reason why I use Figma is because obviously I'm a designer, but I could have started in Duda. That's the same. It's a platform where I can actually design. I have theme colors. I can already set my theme's color. If I'm not happy with that, I can change the color to be, I don't know, maybe blue, and then everything will be blue. It's something that is really useful.
Yeah, I love that. And that's kind of the concept of wireframing too, is you want to think about what the goal is and then get into the work.
Yes.
Somebody would never do an addition on your home without doing a blueprint first, right? And so I love your approach on that. Liran, this is more of a question for you. It's a good question that Deborah asked. And I would agree wholeheartedly, and I haven't really thought about this until just now. The editor loads extremely fast. Do you think that the Duda 2.0 is going to be just as fast?
It's just as fast. Yeah, you can see how she moved between breakpoint really fast. You see how it's actually, she's showing you in real time how the editor is acting. And if you will try it, if Deborah will try it, she will feel it as well. As I said, we built a new structure. We, removed a lot of old code. We used new technologies. The performance of the new editor, it's very important to say, is much better. Core Vitals, Lighthouse Core. We really tried to build a strong foundation for all the features that allow you to design better, but much more great experience for you, to make it much more easier for you, and to have sites that are much better performed for all this code that I just mentioned. So yeah, it will be fast for you as well.
Yeah, we like
speed.
We like
speed.
Yeah,
I know. I know.
And so, Liran, another question for you is, I think one of the slides that caught a lot of people's attention was the animation slide. And I was looking at the way that they're working right now, and somebody did ask a question about how exactly that's going to be executed in the editor itself.
So it's actually, we are going to allow you to pick the elements that you want and to pick the animations that you want. For example, we are just going to release in the next few weeks pinned and fixed animation. So, so you are able very easily to choose each element that you want, each flex element that you want, and to decide how this element will work. As I said, it's not only that you can do it on widgets right now, or you can do it in all the flex elements that Anat just showed, and you can do it in mobile as well. So I think it's a very big advantage that we are releasing, but it's not going to be it's no code. You will be able to do it very easily from the design panel to pick the relevant element that you want to animate, and then just to choose the animations that you want.
That's awesome. Yeah, making it easy is always better.
Yeah, now, I think.
Go ahead.
We didn't. I think that I mentioned it before, but it's very important for us to deliver those design flexibilities, but not in a cost of ease of use and time. So when I talk about efficiency, I'm talking also about ease of use, because you're asking for so many features, and it's amazing. We want to deliver them all, but I can go and develop something that will take you an hour just to use. But we really think about how it will be, what is the easiest way to deliver it to you, and not only deliver more and more and more features. It's one of the important things for us.
Yeah, and I don't know if the Duda community agrees with this. I have been seeing this. And then Anath, I have a fresh question for you. I've been noticing that when I log into the editor, more and more I'm seeing new updates. And I think the key ones that you've mentioned that clearly tells me as an agency you're listening is the mega menu. I think that was a huge idea. The animations, and then the advanced grid that I just witnessed. I didn't know that was the difference of the advanced grid, and that's exactly what my question is. So LMAS 1987 asks, and Anath, you did this, but my question is kind of a spin-off of it. It's, can you overlay a text block over an image in Editor 2.0, which you did, without going into the CSS and defining a Z index value? What are things that you can't overlay, and what are things you can overlay with the advanced grid?
The things that I can't overlay? I don't think I can't overlay anything, but let me show you. I think that, let's say that, okay, maybe I have an example here. Let's say that you want to overlay here a block of text, okay? So let's just copy this, copy the entire section here, duplicate it, and I'm going to drag and drop it in here. And I'm going to set the background to white and add a little bit of margin, of padding, sorry. Okay. So as you can see here, I overlapped a flex box. Oops, sorry. So here, I overlapped a flex box. I didn't start adding a text alone and then meaning that I'm overlapping this, yeah? Okay, all right, great. If now I have started to take the text and then take the paragraph and then take the button alone without this, okay? It would have been a bit difficult to start like designing that because nothing is aligned exactly like I want. See? So in order to do that, it's better to use it's better to use a flex box because then I have to align it like that. And if I move breakpoint, everything can break. So if I want to reproduce something like this, maybe I would have used an advanced grid with an image. And here I would have placed all the text and the button inside of an inner column. And then I would be able to overlap it. So it's also, we have to be very careful of like the way we build it in order to save time. I mean, it's doable, yes, but it takes more time. So these kind of things are, I hope I answered the question, but these kind of things are like a very important to be like we have to be aware of that. And you can also move forward and backward what you overlap.
The position.
The position, yes.
And that's really, really cool. Now, a question that I have is, with the different breakpoints, does that give you control of when the user, let's say, breaks down the desktop size to mobile to allow the elements to change while doing that?
Well, the flex column allow you to have like a more structure across the breakpoint, and then if the users start changing or adding stuff, it won't break your design. And this is why we came up also with this flex column. Also, it's easier, and for me, it's much better than go and right click and align element per element. But if my user wants something else in here, I don't know, maybe the user wants, I don't know, an image. Okay, and the image will be smaller. Okay, well, my image will be aligned with everything. I'm good. Yeah.
And I love how easily scalable it is, like how you just made it into a rectangle really fast from one image with like a drag and drop feature. Now, a question that Jared has is, there's a bit of a learning curve with 2.0. Are there any tips that you have where somebody could maybe, let's say, spend some time on the weekend when they're not busy working with clients? Maybe they are busy working with clients. I know I am. That they could actually use to actually get really good at Editor 2.0?
Like classes, you mean?
Any tips that you would have? Like, how did you get so good at it? Because I think what they're trying to say is,
okay, how do I train, you mean?
Yeah, like how did you get so good at this?
It's been 7 years. It's more of like, because I build all the time on the editor, so I'm getting used to it very fast. But I would say the more you build, the more you get an expert. But I would compare it to, without no offense to anyone, but when you move from like Android to an iPhone or from a PC to a MacBook, it takes a bit of transition. But at the end, you can feel that it's maybe more user-friendly or easier to use than what you had before. So I would go and say, okay, maybe I'll try to just take one of my client sites and build it on Flex, and I will train, I will learn on the way. That's for sure.
So actual application.
I think we also, we also released a new course for classic users that wants to move to Editor 2.0 that I think that helps with understand the basic behavior around Editor 2.0. So everything that Anna just showed, like when to use advanced grid and other things that we didn't show here, like the layers panel, for example, and how to use the layer panel to help you design more easily and stuff like that. So you can first start with looking at, those lessons, and then, just use Editor 2.0, redesign one of your customer sites. I'm sure they will be very happy if you will give them a new, beautiful site.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think with all new updates like this, there's going to be a learning curve. So, Anath, I'm curious to hear earlier on yourself as well. What do you think the two biggest differences are from Editor 1.0 to 2.0?
The flexibility, definitely. The fact that it's much more faster, like it's really faster to build. And the technology behind it, that it's just stronger, and you can feel it while you're building, and it allows you to create this kind of stuff. The fact that you can have different size of font across, like the breakpoint, allow you to have like big and bold title, like I did here, allows you to have like a very flexible design. That's what I would say.
Liran, how about you?
I think that watching Anat building, like first, I'll just add to what Anat said. We saw Anat building our year in review site on Editor 2.0 for the first time. It was like before we had a lot of features that you see right now. And she just finished building it, designing it. And she said like, wow, it took me less than half of the time that it took me every year. That she hated, this time of the year that we ask her to build this site. Sometimes it would take her forever with all the requests that we had, and she was super happy. So to see her, doing it, it was great. I think that I'm very excited about, what we can bring in the future. A lot of stuff that, to read all your requests and to say, okay, this might work. This will take us like a month to develop. And now everything is much more easy also for our developers. As I showed you, like when we take an approach like the smart layouts, for example. Now all the requests around design flexibility with complex widgets, it's something that we can deliver, we can give you. So it's very exciting to be able to, talk about mega menu, for example. And these are things that we can do now with the structure that we built. So yeah, and the team worked really hard to, move all the cool stuff. We talked about, learning curves, and we tried, if you look at the editor, it looks the same as the classic editor. We didn't change the design because we wanted it to look very familiar. We wanted you to find all the things that you are using, the SEO, the AI, the membership, e-com pages, whatever. And we just wanted to improve it, to improve the core, to improve the, basic options that you have when you come to the canvas. So I think it also helped people to adjust to the new editor.
Yeah, and I would definitely agree with that, because a lot of designs are traditional, and I think when you can make it flexible and you can put big headlines and buttons and overlap different elements, you stand out, and that's what it's all about with internet marketing. There's another question about advanced grid, and I think that's the one thing that you presented that I think really struck out to the audience as well. Noro Fairley asks, how do you create an advanced grid, or is it automatic?
Oh, So I'm going to show you this again. Sorry. So advanced grid is like a widget that you drag and drop. So I'm going to do it again in here. So I want to have an advanced grid inside of this column. It needs to be inside of a column. So I'm just going to click plus and drag and drop, just click, and the advanced grid is here. I could also say my advanced grid will be on a column, one column, and create more things if I want. So maybe, I don't know, I want to create something like cards. Yeah. So I'm gonna, whoa, it's big. Okay, and some corner radius. Okay. Now I'm gonna duplicate this one. Yeah. And duplicate it again. Okay. I'm gonna make sure that this one, since I can align stuff like this and like this, and I'm gonna make sure that this will come first. And then I'm going to be able to replace my images with other images. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, that's very nice. Ryan Stack asks, I think I know the answer to this, but I want to confirm. Let's say you wanted to add a circle as a background shape that overlaps the sections. Is that possible with shapes too?
If I want to add what? Sorry, can you repeat?
Like a circle, like a circle or a square or a triangle or a shape overlapping one of these images. Yeah, just like that.
Okay. So I can just go and, in my advanced grid, and let's add, we can add either a shape. If it's a circle, I can also add an inner column, sorry, that I'm going to place here. Okay, I'm going to make sure that it's a square. So I'm going to give it like a size in pixel that will be, I don't know, 200 and 200. Okay, and then I'm going to give it a color and corner radius. And then I'm going to overlap it. Yeah, like this. Cool. Yeah, or like
now,
this.
Can that go overlap the section itself? So can the orange circle, Ryan's next question follow-up is, can the orange circle overlap the two sections from the light pink to the darker maroon?
Here?
Yes.
Yes. So if I want to do that, so the thing that I need to do here is removing my spacing in here, okay? And then having a spacing inside of my advanced grid instead of here. So I'm going to go to the spacing and have my 4%. And then I need, in order for it to work, I need to make sure that a part of my element is inside of the advanced grid. And then it can overlap the two sections. Does it answer the question?
It does. That's really great. And how does that affect the breakpoint, Anna?
So now if we move a breakpoint, this is how it looks like. So we can, for example, decide, can put this back in here, make this smaller. Okay, so 150 maybe. All right, and replace it again. Okay, maybe it's not perfect, but yeah, like this. Won't impact this here. And for here, I just, because my three, this is why you have to use it wisely. And sometimes we want to use like alignment, especially for text. So here I just need now maybe to move a little bit my images and to place this back.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. And when you go to desktop, it's still the previous.
Still the same. Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I think, yeah, I would agree. This is extremely fun, and I'm going to play with this all weekend. But what are your top pieces of advice when it comes to editing through the breakpoints? Because I think for most people, maybe that's just myself, the breakpoints is where we need the most amount of recommendations. I think the advanced section was one of them, or the advanced grid. What would you say your best pieces of advice is going through the actual breakpoints?
So when you go to breakpoint, you need to make sure that everything is like visible, not too tight. And for example, here if I would have respected this section exactly as it is, it would have been like this. Yeah?
Yeah.
This is not good. This is not what we want.
No,
So
definitely not.
here we need to make sure that we change the position to vertical, okay? And then when I move here to mobile, I could have leave this like this, 2 buttons. Wait a second, I'm just going to make this smaller. Okay, I could have leave it like that, but it still doesn't look good. I want my button to pop out, to stand out. So I'm gonna make it like this. Okay, so these are the small tips for the breakpoint. Make sure that everything is visible, that your elements are visible, that not everything is like very tight and crowded. You need space, and you need, sorry, they turn off the light, and that everything will be aligned correctly and visible. And for example, also, this text could have looked very nice aligned left, but maybe on mobile, this text needs to be aligned center. So it's like it creates an consistent and harmony with the rest. Also the title, it looked like this, but on mobile, you know that it's better if everything is aligned center. Sometimes, not always, but
all right.
Kind of tips.
All right. Well, I'm sure there's so much more you can give us now. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks, Liran, for your time. If you're here, do not leave. We're going to be talking about e-commerce in our next Duda session on day 3 of DudaCon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hello. I thought the music was still on. Why'd you turn off the music, Anton? Alrighty, everyone. Welcome to session 3 on day 3 of DudaCon. I am joined with Jonathan, and today on this section, we are going to be talking about unlocking e-commerce success with Duda. And specifically, we're talking about how to maximize clients' revenue potential by enabling them to sell products and services online. In our business model, we sell businesses leads, but when they can actually generate a transaction from their website, they are much happier, believe it or not, because they don't have to sell the lead, they don't have to do that work, and you can tie your results back to it. So I'm joined here with Jonathan. He's the e-commerce product leader at Duda. And we're going to be talking and getting all into native e-commerce, which is a huge update from the previous e-commerce system. So Jonathan, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll get right into the content.
Sure. Happy to be here. Busy day for you.
It is.
So I'm the product leader of e-commerce in Duda. I've been with Duda for almost 6 years, and in the last few years, I had the pleasure to lead our new e-commerce solution, Duda e-commerce. And we wanted to take the time today to talk with agencies, mostly about like how to build an e-commerce website in the right way. We know from our conversations, many agencies know how to do that and are into it. Some are beginning, but many, are afraid and concerned and don't know like how to make the first steps. So we hope that today we can talk about that and help some of the agencies to get into it and others, to get better.
Absolutely. And this is really important because if you're an agency and you're managing clients, your goal is to make more money. It has to be your goal. That's why you're in business. Your client's goal is to make more money. That's why they've hired you. So in this session, I think people are going to leave with actionable insights that they can use to enable their clients to sell more online. And like I said, when you can tie revenue to the website, it makes them much easier to write you a check every single month for your services. So I'm really excited about this one. And this session actually, it actually is very important to me specifically because that's a big change we're making in our agency is we're actually enabling our clients to sell online. So I'm excited to get started with that. So Jonathan, we're going to pull up the slides and we're going to get started on the presentation.
Yes, we have a few slides, but mostly today we will see a demo on a live website. So I'm kicking this up. Just let me know that you can see my screen.
I can see it.
Great. So a bit about what's new with Duda e-commerce. We launched this almost 2 years ago. Started with a beta, but many things happened in the last year. So every day I go and look into the data and see the very big usage that we have. We have tens of thousands of stores created. We see the sales, what we call GMV, gross merchandise volume, going up insane, like almost 10x within these 2 years, and reaching over $1 million. And we see the exponential growth of usage and sales over Duda native e-commerce. And this has a lot to do, with the products people offer and diversity that we see. One of my joys in my position is to see what people are selling. And, I found interesting thing. Did you know that there is such thing as cattle oilers? This is a real thing. It add something to the skin of cattle when they eat, and it helps them. And we have people selling this on Duda e-commerce. So we show many physical products, and as you mentioned, we also see a lot of businesses, and we know that many agencies working on Duda, serve more service businesses, not people selling physical products. And we can say that today about 15% of the stores in Duda don't sell any physical product at all. And before diving into the special website that we prepared for this demo, I think when we talked in preparation, you had some very interesting examples from your websites.
Absolutely, and I'd be happy to share that before we get into it. And obviously, as you can tell from the last conversation, the last session we just had, people love the overviews and you and the editor and making changes and showing them the different features that are available. And that completely blew my mind when it came to the breakpoints. So I'm excited to see what you unveil as well. So I would be happy to share how we've used Duda e-commerce in the past. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. And this is one of the stores that we're working with right now. And the store, since we've been working with them, has generated $600,000 in sales online. And that's not a small number. Because a lot of the revenue that we are generating is all e-commerce. So instead of getting leads, they're actually generating sales directly through the website. So that's something we're looking forward to doing more with a lot of the clients that we have. And the way that this really works is we're taking we're activating their website to sell something online. So for this example, it was a business that was selling something as simple as a gift card on their website directly. So in the native store, you can just set up a product, you can configure the payment gateway, and then you can sell that product directly on there. So we would run very straightforward ads that look like this, and it would bring them to that page where the customer would be able to buy $1,000, $800, $500, whatever that amount was, and the customer would actually get that revenue directly into their Stripe account. Now, when your client wakes up and they're generating sales online, they're very happy about it because, again, it's not a customer they have to convince. It's just happening all automatically. So this is a great example of us just doing a one-time optimization where we're selling a 1 or 2 products at a time. And then there's the example of us selling a lot of products at the same time as well. And what that really looks like when we break that down is a client having physical products directly on their website. And that would look something like this, where there is, there's defined products that are on the website, and they're actually sending traffic to this website and customers are buying units on here. The thing that surprised me the most, which is insane, is that one of the products on here was about $65,000 and somebody actually purchased it directly on the website.
Wow.
It was kind of unreal to see a $65,000 transaction go through a website. A little scary, but ultimately they were able to deliver that service as well. So you can see how clean and neatly you can organize a store and give the customer to just buy that option right away and have all of the different customization options that you would need to actually sell that. So that's a little bit about how we're using it right now. Is we're enabling our customers to sell things one time, and then we're enabling our customers to actually sell a range of products and services directly on their website.
Definitely. And I think one of the interesting things we see with many websites is how people use it is the gift cards or the voucher example that you saw. It's like almost any business can sell. And relating like to the omni-channel discussion from yesterday, I think this is a great example. You pay online but consume the service or the product offline within the business premises. So let's go to the actual website that we built to show all these great best practices. I will share my screen again.
Awesome.
Just let me know you can see it.
We can see it.
Okay, that's great. So we can see this is a fitness-related business. It's an online store that sells equipment and also services. But I think the first thing you can see here right at the top is this Cyber Monday sale. And many people can ask themselves, okay, what Cyber Monday has to do with fitness? But we know that today customers in all segments, in all verticals, look to the holiday shopping season, and they are expecting all the businesses they know to have some kind of sale at that time. So it can be Cyber Monday, it can be Black Friday, whatever fits. And we are actually going to release very soon a very good bunch of sections that are dedicated to promoting e-commerce and selling services online for the holiday seasons with very nice graphics that agencies can use. So stay tuned in the editor to see this. So I think when we look at this website in general, we can already see some best practices in action. First, again, telling about a sale and the top banner here. And also we can see the search bar here, the login and the cart, that they are all in the header. This allows customers to always navigate there when they want to search for a product, if they have a very strong intent, to go into their cart, add things, look out, remove things, and of course log into their account. So also, of course, and we talked about this in another section a lot, I just want to share another tab. Let me know that you can see the preview of the three screens.
Looks good.
Yeah. So of course, you always need to think about all the breakpoints, and you need to adjust the design for that. And you can see also here in the mobile version, let's make it larger, that we have again the search bar, the login or personalization icon, and the cart in the top in the header of the website. Let's continue our conversation over the desktop version. And we can see that the first thing that this website does is to promote the sales over the phone. We have this button, Shop Deals Now. It will take us to a specific page with all the products on sale, and we can see them in this product gallery. We configure the filters here that it will show only those on sale, and you can see the original price is dashed, and we have the new price here. This allows visitors to go directly to the best offers, to navigate. You don't always have a best attention span with visitors on your website, and if you want, as a merchant, usually you have products that do better, you have sales, you have things you want to promote. So promoting them on the website above the fold is a very good practice to do that. And of course, Juan, if you have any insights you want to share from your experience during this demo, just jump right in.
Yeah, go back up to the top. Yeah, this is something that I did want to comment on. I've been talking a lot about this agency of the future, AI-driven, really nicely designing company that allows customers to make money with them. I think this header accurately describes that, because you have a business that sells personal training, sells online classes, and sells products. So you have a company that delivers a service, sells a product online, and their website is activated for them to make money. When you approach a conversation with a customer and say, I know you offer a service, I understand that, we're going to make your website in a way where it's actually going to collect payments. That's the agency of the future. Because Jonathan, I'm sure you're aware of this. A big problem in the agency world is attribution, meaning how did somebody find me and how did that turn into a lead? But when it goes to the payment, you don't have any of those things anymore. So I think the agency of the future that I've been mentioning is going to be a combination of a business that sells a service and can sell something online, and an agency that enables them to do that. So I like this header because there's a combination of an offer, a very clear offer that's one time, the customer can't miss that. There's a coupon code, so they know it isn't forever. It's something that is going to expire. And then the actual header itself has the services and the products. So that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And remind me towards the end, if we don't get there, I will jump straight into the analytics section. As you mentioned, attribution, and we know that setting up analytics is critical role for that. And I want to show how easily you can do that with e-commerce, and you don't need to be an expert in analytics for that, or an expert in e-commerce analytics, which I heard an agency owner talking about this lately. He talked about analytics and he said, okay, but I'm not talking about e-commerce. It's completely different domain. Won't go into that. And I want just remind me if we don't get there to show how we do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we see this like over the top, and let's now take a look at this product gallery. So common practice in e-commerce, you offer your products, you allow buyers, potential buyers to filter and sort to see, if they have a specific intent. Maybe they want to see a range of products, range of prices. They want to see to sort by prices. They want to see if there's something new, maybe returning visitors. And it's also very important in the gallery to communicate all the relevant information upfront. For example, we have this one on sale here, you can see. So we have an on sale label and also the indication over the price. So the customer knows, okay, something interesting here. Also, we have this sold out tag here, which allows users, not to go into it if they are not wanting to buy it now, and especially, not to get frustrated. As users, we don't want to discover important information only down the road, or add everything to the cart, being ready to check out and understand, okay, we can't buy this. This is a very frustrating experience, and you immediately get the impression, okay, this site owner whoever built a site, they didn't think about me. They didn't have me in mind as customer.
Yeah, just a comment on while we're on this section here. One is I love the image overlays. When you hover, you can display a different image. But two is that beautiful, beautiful sort and filter button. Because if you've worked on the first version of the e-commerce, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this was not available. And I think we tried to make it for one website, and it just became very difficult to do. And it doesn't look anywhere as near as good at this. So you have to go into that feature a little bit, because I definitely think for most people selling products online, this is critical.
Yes, I completely agree. So this is one of, I wouldn't say latest edition. We have this for over 6 months at least, I think, in the Duda e-commerce. But this was one of the most requested features that we released recently, along with many other features. And indeed, you are correct. We covered like service businesses that, might offer 1 or 2 services to purchase online. But once you offer like 3, 4, 10, 20, 100 products, you need to allow users to find them in an easy way, and sort and filter is one of them. Here we have a gallery that presents all the products in the website, but of course, when you go into a specific context, like a category, and we didn't say that we have the categories navigation here at the top. This helps buyers to understand what are you offering. Maybe they're not sure what this business is, but they see, okay, accessories, personal training, online classes. Okay, is this the right website for me? Is this the right business? And also helps search engines understand the structure of your business offering. And we also implement in these category pages SEO schema markup to allow search engines to crawl them efficiently. And as you can see, we also have the sort and filter widget here, and now it filters, of course, only the products here in this gallery.
Interesting. And that's an important point that you make too, because AI was a huge conversation yesterday, and search engines, we had some really, really educated people on the actual webinars, specifically in SEO. And when a search engine sees a product page and it has clear descriptions, and it has frequently asked questions, and it has reviews of the product, and it has how much it costs, just like this, these product pages are likely going to rank higher than a normal web page because it's satisfying the user's intent. So the way I'm seeing it is if we work with a plumber, because Develomark's clients are local service-based businesses, and this was plumbing inspection, and it was $99, and it had the description of what you got, and you could pay online, and it booked it for you, that's giving your client end-to-end service. But if they had to fill out a contact form, that's not as helpful to the user, because now they still have to talk to the company about what it costs, then they have to schedule, etc. So I really think, again, the website of the future and the agency of the future is going to be able to bridge that gap between both, and search engines are really going to like that.
Yes. Let's see an example on this site. And you can see in Duda e-commerce, everything is built as a dynamic page. And I'm not meant to scare you in any way with this, for those of you who don't work with dynamic pages, but just think in mind that all product pages and all category pages have the same structure, and we dynamically, fit the right data into them. So you can see this is a service offering that we have here, and it's the same layout, and you can add it to the cart. You can, as a buyer, select which offering exactly you want to take. And let's take a bit of a look into the cart. Let's add this one. You can see a very good practice is that the cart opens immediately, and then the user can decide, okay, whether to check out or to continue shopping. Let's do that as well. And let's just add another product. And while returning home, you can see this breadcrumbs widget that we have. This is important in two aspects. First, for the user like me to understand, okay, where am I? Are there other products in the category that I want to look into? But also, as we mentioned, search engines really use this. And when this is built correctly, like in Duda e-commerce, this includes meta information that search engine consume, and they understand the structure of the website and really improve SEO results. So just go to the home page and add this product as well. Which color do you want?
Do pink.
Pink one. I think the pink one is out of stock. So which one do you want?
Do the blue one then.
The blue one. As men, we call this blue probably. And let's add it to the cart. And another important thing, you can see first that when I chose a different color over the product page, it immediately shows that the website automatically showed me the correct image that corresponds to it. And when you manage options and variations for e-commerce, it's important to do that, to have the options configured with images. And also when they go into the cart, you can see the selection that I had. And also, again, the image corresponds to that. If we would add, let's add this one. And we check the cart again. So we see we have two entries. And it's very clear to me as a buyer what I purchased, and I don't get confused with that. Let's see some best practices in the checkout. So first, when we go to checkout, this is, of course, the desktop navigation, but in mobile, it would be, built responsively for mobile. We can see all the items that we have, again, with the variations that we implied. Let's see that the promo works. Maybe, no, it was a false promise, but yeah, we see the promo applied, and we see the discount here. So first, it's important you see this cart is built with phases. You have first the billing information, then later the shipping and pickup and payment, and they are all already presented to the buyer, so they know what they are going to go through, but they can start focusing here. Let's fill this out automatically. And it's important when you configure these for your clients, for your merchants, to understand specifically with addresses what's the right format. In some countries it's better to divide the house number from the street address, and in some you want to connect that. And also you can see the autofill that we had here with Google completion for the address. And when we look at shipping, you can see here it's a very best practice to explore and show the potential buyer all the options for shipping that they have, and clearly indicate which one is the cheapest, which one is the fastest, and to add an estimation of how much time it will take to arrive in each one of these. also a very important thing is the delivery instructions that the buyer can fill in many cases. And we know, all us know, that we buy things online. If you don't type specific instructions like leave at my door, don't be afraid of the dog, or things like that, things can get lost in the delivery. And it's very important when you set this up, and we do this automatically with our shipping partners into the e-commerce, that these instructions, are then automatically go to the delivery company. Because if it stays with the business and is not forwarded, it's no use for that.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Also, features that weren't available in the first one. And I love the use of the promo code, for me at least, because when I'm working with clients, it's all about what are we doing to promote sales. So having change in offers is really important to incentivize, and the promotion code is a great way to do that. It's also a great way to get influencers to offer your product. It's also a great way to have employees have certain promo codes, or certain ads have different promo codes. So I love the flexibility of just having a lot of those out at the same time while generating more sales.
Yeah. And this also goes to attribution as well, right? The use of promo codes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's just see the next section of the checkout. You can see also offering, if of course fits the business, an option to store pickup with mentioning of the hours, and the exact address is important.
Now, Jonathan, while we're on here,
Yes.
I just want to, there's a bunch of questions I'm going to get to, but since we're at this checkout process that we're going to be talking about, and maybe you are going to cover it, but I just want to highlight Deborah's question about nonprofits collecting donations online. If you're going to cover it, feel free. If not, maybe touch on that.
Yeah, so we actually have many people do this online, and we have actually a donation product configured that allows it to be much easier for the merchant to configure it, and don't get stuck with like shipping instructions for a donation product. And basically, it goes the same. The most important thing to think about is the tax configurations for that. And I just want to let you guys know that we will soon also have in the native e-commerce the ability to configure different tax rates. So if you're selling taxable products like physical products, and you also want to collect donations in the same store, you will be able to do that. Do we want to take a few minutes for other questions?
Yeah, I think at this point we've got a couple that have come in, and I think it makes sense. So Trisha has a really good question, and I completely feel for her because you're really managing someone's online presence, and that if it's e-commerce, that's their pipeline of their money. So Trisha asks, I have a golf store client that is using WordPress and WooCommerce, and is wondering if Duda is a good option to help them transition a store that has hundreds of products.
Yeah. So, without getting into the details of these businesses, I would say yes, we have businesses in Duda selling hundreds and even thousands and tens of thousands products over the stores, making a lot of revenue. Cannot say how much exactly, and we definitely see this as viable. And I encourage her, and actually everyone, because we added so many features lately, to go and see what's been changed and see if it fits your client. And if not, reach out to us. We are very responsive, and maybe we can find a solution, or prioritize other features missing for you.
Excellent. One more question that we have here too is Camila asks, before with native ecom, you couldn't have two products with the same name, even if they had the different SKU. Can you have two products with the same name now?
Yeah, so we don't allow this yet, and it's for a reason. We know that these products or categories with the same name can have two, you can say, potential negative impacts. One of them is hard to manage the store when you go into like DUI, but mostly with CSV and others, people might get confused. But also we want to make sure that we do it and allow people to do it in the very best way in SEO terms, because once you have same product page with the same name for two different products, this needs to be structured in a very explicit way to allow search engines to understand the differences between them. So this is not something that we rule out completely, but we consider this an advanced feature for these reasons, and it's kind of on our roadmap for the future.
All right, Jonathan, I'm going to do one more question. I need you to be quick on this one because we're running out of
Sure.
time. Everybody wants to watch you go through the editor. Bram Jam asks, can you cover shipping options, shipping by weight, shipping by preference, and shipping by products?
Yes. So today we have two solutions. Shortly, we have manual shipping that allow you to configure rules by yourself, like by weight, areas, and we are going to add probably zip codes soon. So this is one thing. Another thing is EasyShip, our global fulfillment partner that allows merchants to get offers from hundreds of shipping providers with great discounts. It just show them on the checkout live as we saw, and later the merchant, can purchase the label with great discounts and ship it.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, Jonathan. Well, thank you so much for bringing us through Duda's new e-commerce. That was really insightful. I can't wait to use it. And on our session 4 of day 3, the team has covered a lot. We've covered a lot today, but now we're going to give you guys a chance to ask anything with the product leaders. So that's coming up next. Jonathan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our final session of DudaCon here. This session, we're hoping that you guys have come ready with a bunch of questions for Duda's product leaders around the org. I'm very, very happy to be joined by the rest of kind of our product group here at Duda. And before we get into questions for everybody, why don't we just do a quick round of introductions? Amir, if you want to go ahead and start there. An awesome picture of our team in our Tel Aviv office.
Yeah. So hi, everyone. For those of you who didn't see me 2 days ago in the keynote, I'm Amir. I'm CTO and co-founder of Duda. 14 years with the company. Very excited to be here today to answer any question that you might have. And together with me, my product leaders, Abigail, Liron, and Jonathan, please introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, I'm Abigail. I'm a product leader for what we call the Scale Group. So our team is responsible for a lot of the features that are helping you build websites in a much more productive way. A lot of the different AI features that you saw in my earlier session, if you joined us for that.
So hi everyone, I'm Liron. I'm a group leader at Duda as well, and I'm leading the website group. We are responsible on the core product of Duda, as you can imagine, I'm talking about the editor. And as you can saw in my previous session, we are now all about Editor 2.0, launching it, hearing your feedback, and developing on top of it.
Yes, and hello everyone, I'm Jonathan. I'm the e-commerce group product manager in Duda, coming straight from the e-commerce session.
They already asked you everything.
That's great, guys. So as we get some questions kind of built up here from the group, I'm going to throw you guys each a softball question here right off the bat is, what are you guys most excited about, right? We announced some really cool features at the beginning of DudaCon that are coming, for each one of our kind of areas. Abigail, I'm going to point this to you first to take this, and if we can go through each one, that'd be great just to hear. What are you guys looking forward to the most? What do you think is going to have the biggest impact? What do you think our customers are going to be most excited about? I'm kind of curious of what your guys' opinion are.
Yeah. So of course, I'm excited about pretty much all of the features that I talked about in the session overall, but if I have to choose one of them, it's definitely what I showed at the end, the ability to generate that starting point of a site. And, it excites me the most because it really shows the focus that we've had on our AI strategy overall, where we really took our time figuring out how all of you want to work with AI, that level of control that you want to have, but also giving you the speed and making sure that we incorporate the important aspects of it, like SEO, performance, etc. So I'm really excited to see how it all comes together, all of the work that we've been doing over the last year or so, and all the features and feedback that you've given us coming into that one product overall.
Liron, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So I think we are in a very exciting point right now. We worked really hard on Editor 2.0, really, really hard. We tested it. We A/B tested it with different customers, a lot of usability thing that we did, just to make sure that it like cover everything that we wanted, and fill it with all the features that people love from the classic editor, and think about also the future. And I shared, the vision for the future and what we are planning to build. And I think that the thing that excites me the most is the strategy or the understanding that we can now build a lot of stuff on the structure that we built. So it's so powerful that, and I'll talk again and again and again about mega menu, because it's like, yeah, it's a dream come true. Like, we worked so hard, we built this structure, and now we can actually bring to life a lot of different features that people asked for a long time. And I believe it will be also much easier to use, much flexible. So yeah, I think that I'm really excited about that.
But Jonathan, before you go here, just one comment for what Liron was saying. Like, we're introducing kind of this like flexible section kind of concept, right? Like, it's going to be in tabs. It's going to be part of like how mega menu is built. Like, I personally am also excited about that, of just like giving that next level of design freedom over a lot of those individual kind of granular components. Those are things that we haven't had historically. And so it introduced kind of a new concept, right? It's like, we're kind of like abstracting a widget out a little bit and giving like a full box for you to kind of like, design into. I think it's a really cool concept that I think we're going to be able to do a lot of things, interesting going forward with. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you like have anything else that you have planned or kind of thoughts for that in the long term, but I personally am also just kind of like excited about that concept where we can like play with the designs more. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that like, for example, like, when we think about future complex widgets, that we are thinking about how to redo, for example, our contact form, right? It's not going to happen like this year, but probably like, next year. So when we think about how to build it, so we want probably going to apply like the same concept, instead of having one big widget that you do everything within it, and then like, your design is limited. Instead, we're gonna break it with the small components, so you can add kind of like your own input fields, your own text, your own images, videos, and really design it like from the way you want. So I think we're gonna apply it like to really lots of areas in the platform.
Yeah. Cool. Jonathan, over to you. Like, what are you most excited about?
So I will pick two. First is coming up soon, what we call manual payments or offline payments, which allow merchants, not to get the payment when someone checks out, but to get it later, either in cash, phone, bank transfer, etc. And we see this very useful for many use cases. I would just name three. Service businesses, many times want to collect the payment after they provide the service, but they do want to sell it online to allow the customer to choose exactly what they want online. And as one mentioned, to have this website generating money and not just leads. Second, are merchants, who sell high-priced items and don't always want people to pay for these online, usually because of the credit card fees. And another thing that we have, usually for B2B businesses, we hear a lot about people wanting, to have like a catalog store in which someone doesn't pay, but, creates a big order, and then the business negotiates like the price with them depending on the quantity and the exact thing that they fit in the cart. So offline payments, one. And the second one's actually going to be cheating, because it's a lot of features combined together, but this is our EU readiness. E-commerce is a very much local game. And in the recent year, we invested a lot to make it compatible with EU, starting, with EU regulations and local regulations, like displaying lowest price in the last 30 days, which many countries enforce, tax schemes that are relevant for the EU, and coming soon, multi-language, which many people in the EU also need.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, it's cool to see us getting a little bit deeper in e-commerce, where it's like, there's really, kind of region specific features. No longer it's like big level, features that we really need. It's like, really geo specific and, region specific stuff. Shows the maturity of the product and where we're at, right? Cool. So one of the first questions from the audience here that I want to throw up is from Rusty. He's asking about the new accordion. He's saying, cool, can an image and button be turned off by default? More FAQ needed in them. And every time you add a new field, you have to toggle them off. So, Lerone, I don't know if you want to take this or if this is for Amir. I think actually I think it's a little bit of a different answer that we're going to have here.
Yeah, so I'll start, maybe Amir will add. So I think that you'll find it very interesting that accordion is going to be one of the widgets that we are going to move to the new structure. And I think that all those questions, actually, in the end, you'll be able to have all the freedom that you want in accordion. You will be able to add anything that you want. You will be able to add widgets. You will be able to, design it in the way that you want. So we are starting with tabs. We are going to release it very soon, and then we are moving to accordion. And I think that the question is actually showing really great, like why I said that I'm so excited about, this new strategy.
Yeah, I would add, I think, just to add on what Liron said, that in the short term, when we released the new accordion, we wanted to kind of make sure that you guys know about the new options of adding images, stuff that you couldn't do before. So we put it by default. Maybe it is a good idea to remove it from the default when you add an accordion. So we'll take it, we'll consider that. One thing that we did add, which is very useful, is the duplicate item in accordion. So what you can do today, you can remove the image from the first item and then just duplicate it as you want. So this will also save you some time.
Great. Next question, this is probably also for you, Lerone, is around forms. Bazi is saying that he's struggling with forms and flexibility. A lot of items are missing from forms. It would be nice to allow forms to do more rather than pushing people to third-party solutions. I don't know if I comment generally on this, but do we have thoughts or plans, for this?
So as Amir mentioned before, we will not release anything new this year, but we are absolutely going to work on a new form in next year. And again, I'm just feeling that I'm repeating myself, so maybe I'll try to find new words to explain the same. But yeah, we are taking all the requests around forms, around submissions and design and logic behind forms. And this is the way that we are going to think about the new form. So we want to allow you, again, the flexibility, but also to add on top of it the logic and all the submissions, requests, and settings that you need. And I think it will be you will find it very helpful, and you will be able to use it very easily. So wait for it.
Well, I think also this is one of the reasons why Editor 2.0 is so important for us internally at Duda, right? I was we have this new structure and a way to build out kind of new layouts and new options there, and we're innovating on top of that, right? So it's this advancement that we've had internally that allows us to move faster on the tech side too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Great. So I want to ask kind of a question over to Abigail on the AI side. And this came in earlier from some of our pre-asked questions. If Duda AI keeps developing, and how if Duda keeps developing this, how can it be better than alternatives we are using? How can Duda make the most of being integrated into the editor and work better and more accurately when trying to create kind of unique content with AI? So like, what's our strategy there, Abigail?
Yeah. So I think you kind of asked two questions combined there. So I'll take the first one, which is how do our solutions set us apart from the other options out there? And I talked a lot earlier in my session about how do we think about AI. And it's really about that agency focus. We're very focused on a specific customer type and understanding exactly what you need in each stage of the process. So it's not the same as an SMB who is building a website for themselves. And there's a lot of expectation that you can build a website in a click of a button. And you can get great results in 30 seconds, but we know the reality of the situation. You're not getting actual value from that. Yes, you have a website that's online, but what kind of quality is it going to bring you? Is it going to rank on Google? Is it going to, give you the conversions that you're looking for? The majority of the time, no, it's not. Building in exactly what agencies are promising to their clients, that performance and that real value for their business is how we think about all of our AI features. So it's really just a different look on things. How can we support what you're promising them, and how can we build the features that do that? So we've started in the areas that you've seen so far, and we have very exciting things coming up in terms of how you can apply your workflow with AI that's built directly into the editor itself.
Great. Thank you for that, Abigail. Cool. I'm going to jump over, and this will probably be a question for Lerone, but it should be a quick one from Fabe. He asked earlier, do you plan on adding blog categories?
Yeah, so we are planning to work on some, and I'll take you behind the scene, combining between a collection and blog that will allow the blog to have much more capabilities. And yeah, I think that this wish will also come true after we'll do that. Yeah, it's one of our plans for 2024.
Yeah. I would add, you can manually create categories today too if you want to, right? If you want to go and tag them with a specific tag, you go and create a category page for a specific topic, then you can filter the all post widgets for a specific tag. You can do that, but it's one-off, right? It's not going to automatically generate. You have to say, cool, here's my structured categories, or whatever that might be. So it can be done, but it's a bit of a workaround.
Yeah, that's what we did for the new product updates page on Duda. So if you go to the product updates, there are I think 6 categories, and that's exactly what we did until we have it natively supported.
Right.
By the way, check out our new product updates page. It's a new website. We're really proud of how it looks like.
Yeah, it's a blog on Duda, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The entire website is. The entire Duda website is running on Editor 2.0, and our marketing team is pretty happy with it.
Good, as they should be.
Yeah.
Great. I have a question that came in also earlier from Jonathan, and this is for you, Jonathan. Native e-commerce development. What's coming, and what's going to bring it up to spec with the third-party store in terms of features, and more importantly, other e-com platforms out there. Can this be our go-to e-commerce platform for customers anytime soon?
Yeah, so I would actually say it already is. We look at the data and we see, many agencies can choose for each client website that they want to build and to add e-commerce, which solution to use. And we see more and more of them. Almost half of the cases, people choose to eventually publish and run the store with Duda native e-commerce. So I think numbers already speak for themselves, and we see this percentage increasing on the time. we've made a lot of progress in the last 2 years, and we are continuing to add. And I would just want to say that, we are focusing on the features that we see that Duda merchants and Duda businesses and the agencies that build on top of that need. Like all e-commerce platforms have many, many features that can be very niche features for specific markets or specific verticals, but we go and prioritize it according to the audience. Take, for example, like it was in the previous session, like the service businesses. We know that many Duda agencies serve service businesses, and we develop ways for them to deliver selling services online. But I can just say, we are looking into product customizations coming, multi-language, as I mentioned, more payment gateways, and of course, next year, more and more developments and improving the e-commerce platform.
Yeah, great. I have another question probably for you, Jonathan, that came in from Alexis here a few minutes ago. Will payment processor be able to be added to the forms, for example, donations?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I have two answers, or two solutions that we will see. First, and this is probably sometimes early next year, we are going to introduce what we call product customization that allows you to combine form-like elements like text inputs or checkboxes and others within the product page. So each time a buyer buys or adds it to the cart, they can add their inputs. So this is one solution for that. And I would say in the longer run, we do see ourselves adding payment capabilities into contact forms. And this is actually one of the reasons that led us to build Duda e-commerce, because we understood that we want to have a full Duda native technology stack to allow us to serve these solutions to our users.
Great, thank you. Cool. I'm gonna just keep going rapid fire questions here. We got a lot of questions from the community. So I have two here for Lerone that have come in. One, it's some very specific questions. The first one is from Clinton, and he asks, "Is there a plan to bring blog import and hide the header on specific pages in the editor in 2.0?" So blog import and hide on header. Are those coming? Yeah.
So the short question is, you will be able to do that. So blog import is something that we are working on. It's actually in QA stages, and it's going to be part of Editor 2.0 really, really, really soon. And I heard yes that hide the header per page is something that people asked. I saw it also in the keynote and the first day. And yeah, this is also something that we are working on. And it's important to say that we are still moving. We already moved the most important features that we had in the classic editor, but we still have some features that we need to move to the editor 2.0. And it's easy just to move feature to editor 2.0, but when we have the chance to do that, we also think about, the feedback that you gave us for this, for those features in the past. What will be easier for you? How can we, build it a little bit more better for you, right? It's like, take, for example, the parallax that you are now can do in mobile. You will be able to do on mobile. I can assure you that when you'll see the UX of the hide page, header on page, you will be very happy to see how you can do it very, very easily. So yeah, we are planning to do all that, and it's going to, be available very soon. Some of it very soon and some less, but yeah, we are working on it, and it's not only like moving everything as they are because we just need to allow you to do that. It's really important for us to do it a little bit better and put some, great stuff in there according to your feedback that you gave us, over the years.
Yeah. Cool. One more question for you, Lerone, here. From Jennifer, who asked, the amount of templates in 2.0 are less than the classic editor. At what rate is Duda producing new 2.0 templates?
So I think it's a question for Anat. No, I'm just from the last session. Yeah, we have team in Duda, the content design team, that actually this is what they are doing. They are creating more and more templates, adding all the features, all the new options to the templates So you will be able to take a template and get all the new capabilities that we are giving you. And they are working like, to build a template is not something that is easy. We are trying, to add all the features, trying that the template will look good, will be something that you can use for different verticals, for different use cases. But we are keep adding more and more templates all the time. And you'll see a lot of new templates. We are redesigning templates that we already have. We design new templates for this a new editor. So we are working on it all the time and adding more and more templates.
Yeah, and I can also add to that like we're also investing quite a lot in building like new sections, especially sections that we can like fill with AI. So this is a big focus. And if you saw like our page builder demos and the build site with AI demo, we believe that like now is the era of AI. Actually, like investing in the sections area and making them like very flexible and dynamic is like very, very valuable. Instead of like starting just like with like one big template with lots of pages that maybe many of them are not relevant, you really kind of like build your pages on the fly according to your needs. And that's a big part of our investment, and I think big part of like what we expect like our customers to use in the coming months when building websites.
Great. I'm going to jump on to the next question from Ricky, who asked this about almost 10 minutes ago. He was asking, we mainly use HubSpot for analytics. I would love to replace HubSpot and put more of an investment in Duda, but I feel analytics are lacking. Will any improvements be made in analytics? This is maybe Jonathan or Amir probably best here.
Yeah, I think like currently we don't have like big plans to invest in analytics. We do have quite a lot of like ways to integrate into like other platforms besides like Duda's own. And we think that like doing like analytics really, really well takes a lot of investment. So we think like for Duda to be able to provide an analytics solution like Google Analytics or like others, it's a lot of investment, and we think that like it's not really like core to what we do. So that's why we didn't like prioritize like making it much better. I do understand that like our solution is a bit old. We do want to refresh it, so it's not like we're not going to invest in it at all. But I think like people that want like serious analytics probably like integrate with others is still a better option.
Yeah. Just one comment about that regarding e-commerce. We know maybe it doesn't answer the HubSpot question, but again, to follow up on Amir, we know that's very important in e-commerce and that many use Google Analytics. So today, once you integrate the website in Duda with Google Analytics, you automatically get all the e-commerce events report, added to cart, purchases, dropouts, etc. And it's very easy and a standard way to manage that.
Cool. And a related analytics question, but on the performance side, came in from Gabby, who asked, could you let me know if site speed would be a data point included in the Duda stats? And Abigail, I think you were looking at this a while ago, right?
Yeah, I can take this one. So we definitely looked into including reporting on Core Web Vitals. We're obviously very proud of our stats when it comes to Core Web Vitals and how we're leading the market there. So we're more than happy to show that off for you in the dashboard and also help you keep track of how your site is performing. It's not on the roadmap at the moment, but we have already planned it out and we do expect to include it at some point.
Got it.
And right now, if like people wants to see it, I would recommend using like the Google Search Console.
Yes.
To store writers like results. We also have an app in the App Store to connect very, very easily the Google Search Console. So I would use that for now.
Yeah. Also, like WooCommerce, which is an app that we have, also tracks Core Web Vitals specifically.
WooRank, right?
Yes.
WooRanks. Yeah.
WooRank. Yes. Yeah. They do that. Yeah. And then like Amir said, like Google makes the data public, right? So like you can query it. It's called the Crux data set. It's the same thing that goes into Search Console. Same thing if you run it in like Page Speed Insights. You see kind of the real world data there. Yeah. Cool. Jonathan, this is a question for you from Deborah. Do you have a solution for companies that sell training and workshops? For example, can a person buy a workshop or a subscription?
Yes. So we actually have already many websites doing that in Duda eCommerce. Actually, almost 1 out of 6 e-commerce sites in Duda doesn't sell physical products at all, and many out of these 1/6 sell trainings, and it can be online, it can be physical, it can be one time, it can be recurring, it can be different times that people choose, which one of the dates they want to go into. I saw this like with dog training courses, with CPR training for professional nurses, with many others. So yeah, definitely it is. And when you add a product or you want to create a new entry in the catalog, just choose, you have a small drop-down service offering, and you will have all these configured.
And you also have subscriptions, right, Jonathan?
Yes, it can be recurring on, I think, all daily, weekly, monthly, and annual basis.
Great. Cool. Maybe this is a question for Jonathan, or maybe it's just the group in general. Will there be a mobile app for to manage clients and websites?
There will be, but I think it will take us a little bit of time. We do understand that this is important. We do have today a limited solution for managing on mobile, and this is one of the areas that we need to get to. I think just for folks to understand, we get so many different requests, maybe thousands of just on our idea board. I think we have several thousands of feature requests. And the Duda team is sizable, but obviously we cannot do everything. So one of the most difficult part of our jobs here for all of us on this call is really to try to prioritize what to do and what not to do. And we understand we need to always choose and say no to many different things. So lots of your questions of those features, those are great things that we want to add, but we kind of they're not part of the current roadmap for this year, because we think there are more critical things for you that we can develop.
Got it. Cool. I have a question that was asked earlier before we started the session from the community. Is can I migrate templates and sections to Editor 2.0? This is for Lerone, obviously.
Yeah. So you can't migrate for now full templates from the classic editor to Editor 2.0. But sections, it's a different story. If you build the section on the classic editor, you can't migrate it. But if you use the hybrid mode and you used a flex mode and the section is a flex section, you will find it automatically in the Editor 2.0. You don't need to migrate it. So everything that you build on Flex in the classic editor will wait for you in Editor 2.0 out of the box. You don't need to do anything. So it's very, very easy in this case. I'll just add, and I know that it wasn't the question, but I'll just add that all the widgets that you build, like the custom widget, will be available automatically in Editor 2.0. Everything that you use, of course, all your settings, everything will be there. I think, and we see, and I think that we saw it very beautiful in a NAT session. We see people look at the potential of what they can build in Editor 2.0, understand that sometimes, the templates are a little bit not trendy enough, and it might be the time to redesign some stuff. So as we in Duda, I can share that this is exactly, some of the things that push us to, redesign a lot of the templates is moving them to Editor 2.0. So I see it as a, opportunity to look at your templates and try to think if some of them maybe you can redesign them and then rebuild them very easily in Editor 2.0 because you already have all the assets, but you can get great results. So I know that we did it, and this is how we looked at it. So maybe it's a good option for you as well.
Got it. Thank you. Cool. Rowan, I have another like a blog question that came in from Amanda a few minutes ago here is
Now Amir is taking the blog question.
Amir's taking the blog questions. Okay.
Oh,
Do you plan on making the blog bilingual anytime soon?
The blog bilingual, like meaning like support kind of like multi-language on blog posts.
Yep.
There are no concrete plans to do that. We do have plans to add bilingual to our internal collections. So you can build like dynamic pages with like multi-language support. So it might solve a lot of like, use cases. But for blog posts currently, we don't have like, a plan for it.
Got it.
What you can also do is write posts in like, different languages and tag them according to the language.
Right.
And like use like, the filters that we have now on the all post widgets and so on to use that. So that's another option if you want to have a blog with like, more than one language.
Right. Kind of the same like category solution we discussed earlier, but a language is a category. Right.
Exactly. Yes.
Right. Got it. Just a general question that came in earlier, and I'm going to point this to you, Amir. Duda has a strong reputation for kind of stability and performance, right? We maintain the platform that stays up. Our sites perform well. Can you share like, challenges that we faced while scaling like our infrastructure, right? Like our sites continue to get more visits every single month. We have to grow the number of servers. We have to manage all of that in AWS. Like, what are our challenges, and how do we kind of like maintain that while improving, security?
Yeah, I think like, this is like really like, one of the most challenging aspects of like running a service which has lots of like users and lots of objects, and to keep on building on top, but still keeping everything running. So for that, we invested quite a lot in like infrastructure. So one thing is that like we built like a full CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous deployment, which means that like when our developers are like writing code and pushing this code is going through lots of automated tests, from unit tests to integration tests to visual regression tests and so on. And then like only when they pass all these tests, only then like this code is going automatically to production. And when we deploy to production, we use what we call the green-blue deployment, which means that we have like a bunch of servers which are running the old version, and we kind of like spin up new servers running the new version, and we start to direct some of the traffic to the new servers, not all of it. And then if there are like errors like in the log, automatically like the deployment is like failing and rolling back. And only when like we see that like after like 40 minutes, 50 minutes, everything is okay, only then like the new version is coming. So investing a lot in like building and deploying like the software in a way that like will be automated. And we try to kind of like find all the regressions like automatically. It's not always the case, especially with something so visual and drag and drop like Duda. So from time to time, like we do have like a regression, and then also we try to fix it as soon as possible, like within like minutes. So that's one of the things. Another thing that we do is we try to give kind of like more autonomy to the teams, to the dev teams in Duda. So we have kind of like ownership. We have lots of like what we call microservices, and the teams are responsible for different services. So kind of like trying to scale it up by kind of like having different services for teams, so not everyone are working on the same thing together. So these are just some of the stuff that we do.
Yeah, cool. Great. Amir, I have another question for you here that came in from Jonathan before the session started, saying, "Don't bite my head off. Pricing. We all know that the pricing increase went down like a lead balloon, and we have tried to move on and are still committed to using Duda. However, there's nothing to bridge the gap between the Foresight agency plan and custom plans. As we scale our business, can Duda offer better pricing as our volume grows to keep us competitive and to keep Duda competitive in the overcrowded industry? Bulk pricing for volume is very common on most platforms. Why not Duda? Why is the 50th site still costing the same as the 5th?"
Yeah. So first, I totally understand that price increase was not fun for any one of our customers. No one likes that, and I do acknowledge that. I think maybe first, let me say a few words of why we did the price increase.
Sure.
I think there are a few reasons. First, the world really is becoming more expensive, and we can see it everywhere. And also for Duda, the world is becoming more expensive. Our employees, our services that we use, to provide the services becoming more expensive. That's one. Second, we do add a lot of new capabilities and features to the platform that
For sure.
also cost do them money. I give some examples. We introduced a new icons library, for example, with millions of new icons you can search for. It's not for free. Duda is paying for it. We add a lot of AI capabilities to the platform. This is also not for free. Duda is paying for it. So also our cost is becoming better. And also when we looked at the market, we feel that we're still kind of giving very, very fair prices compared to others in our market. So that's and I think the most important thing that everyone should understand is that by doing this price increase, it really allows us to continue to innovate and continue to build more features and add more value. In the end, the sites that we sell, this is the revenue that Duda is getting, right? It's almost all the revenue is coming from those site units. So by getting more, we can invest more back for you as agencies, invest in your business for the future and add more value. So that's why we did it. And then about bulk pricing. So it's a good question. First, we do have bulk pricing for our custom plans.
Yep.
We do understand that the gap is might be too much for smaller agencies, absolutely. But we do have better pricing when you get to real scale. And in terms of having more tiered pricing for our lower plans, this is something that we are thinking about. How we will make it work? Will it work right? So it's not something that we ignore. We do discuss it, and we might come up with something. And by the way, also right now there is a promo, 50% discount on new sites, annual plans that you can definitely take advantage of already today.
Awesome. There's a related pricing question that I'll just ask quickly while we're on the topic here, and maybe this is for you, Abigail. Is can we have 20 websites under the white label tier?
Yeah. So you can definitely have 20 websites. You could have 200 websites under the white label tier. But of course, each of our plan is meant to scale with the size of your business. So you get more features in each plan, and we break down the features in the plan based off of how we think they are going to help you grow overall. So there's no limit on the number of websites, but of course, at a certain point, like Amir mentioned, the custom plan can be a great option for getting that bulk discount price on sites, but also for the amount of scale at that point. There are a lot of features available under that plan that can help you to scale your business even more.
Yeah. Great. Jared is asking, will Penny become the mascot for Duda? Amir, this is you.
But I would love that, as I said in the keynote, I have to put her on every presentation or demo that I do in Duda. So all the Duda employees, they already know her very well. Yeah, she's our little cutie. So I will vote for that.
Cool. Great. A question that just came in, and I'm going to direct this to you, Jonathan, is how can an e-commerce business take advantage of Duda for Google Merchant? I assume this is connecting to the Merchant Center at Google.
Yeah. So this is one of the features that we released this year, and for any store or e-commerce website on Duda e-commerce, we automatically generate a feed. You just go to the Google tools, and it's also linked from the store. You copy this URL and you paste it in Google's Merchant Center, and automatically we update this feed each time the merchant changes prices, changes product, changes anything else, and Google automatically reads it and has all the data from the store available for Google.
Yeah. Great. I'm going to go back for a little bit here. And Erica asked a question a few minutes ago. Will there be an integration with Zoom or another platform that customers can go straight to a Zoom through a button on the website? I'm actually not sure who best to direct this to here. So if you know, jump in.
Yeah, so maybe I can answer it. So we actually introduced like a Zoom widget when COVID hit. I think like we released it probably April 2020, something like that.
Yep.
And the reality was that after like, and it was like pretty popular back then, but when we looked at data earlier this year, we saw that like very, very few customers were using it, while it was quite expensive to maintain, as Zoom broke their SDK every second month. So we decided, so we took a decision like to remove it because we really like didn't see like enough of usage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're at with Zoom.
Great.
Because I think like you can definitely link from a site to a Zoom meeting, but the reality is that most users wants to use Zoom using the native application. If it's the mobile app or the native app on desktop, and not so many wanted to use the web interface within the website. So I think that was the reason for the low adoption of this feature.
Yeah, I would also say it's probably a little more common for actually booking tools to have that kind of natively integrated in. Where okay, great, maybe like a booking, like you set an appointment, and then like once that appointment time comes up, and a link is emailed to either Zoom or Google Meet or whatever it might be as part of that. And so we do have some tools that do that type of thing in the App Store and make kind of that booking connection. But we not directly with like the like Zoom directly, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great. A quick question that came in from Erica a few minutes ago, and Jonathan, I'm going to point this to you. For a car dealership, how many rows and columns can you have in a collection?
Yeah, so we support thousands of rows. Like our collection technology is very strong, but since this depends on the pricing and the plan, I suggest to go into our support portal and check the details and see if it fits the needs of that specific site.
Yeah, we have different tiers, right? Different limits for different account tiers, right? Got it. Great. Another question that came in earlier, and I'm going to point this to you, Jonathan. Native e-commerce is kind of becoming a bigger focus for Duda. What specific integrations or features are you most excited about that are going to help agencies drive value for their small business customers?
Yeah. So I first want to mention like a few apps that the App Store team, you guys delivered very recently, and maybe you also can expand about them. But there were major features that were missing on the Duda e-commerce platform, and we also saw that integration is the best path for them, because we don't want Duda to develop things that we don't have the edge of, and we don't have the advantage in developing. So in overall, it was a lot about email marketing and reviews, and we have some more coming up. Maybe Russ, you can share more details about that.
Yeah, for sure. So like two big things from an integration perspective that we have coming up. One is with JudgeMe. JudgeMe is the biggest review provider or like product reviews in the market today. They're going to be integrating into the Duda platform, and we're going to kind of give them and make them available. And then two is an integration with Printify. And so Printify will allow you to set up, branded merch, whether it's a t-shirt or a mug or car mats, or they have a whole wide range of things that you can sell, and then sync that inventory between the Duda e-commerce platform and Printify directly. So you can go and create it in Printify and then sell it directly on your Duda site. And then Printify will actually do the printing and fulfillment and delivery and all that type of fun stuff.
Yeah, and actually this is like a use case that we already see today, and this is going to make it much easier. We see many businesses from any vertical creating their own hats and t-shirts and mugs and selling them online as well as their services. So it's a very interesting opportunity.
and we want to, right, once we have the Printify integration live, we want to rebuild the Duda swag shop with it.
That's the plan. Yeah.
I think there's still a question about it. Yeah.
There it is. Revealing our plans, Amir. You're ruining my thunder for later. Great. So another question that came in earlier, and I'm going to point this to you, Amir, is how do we see agencies really leverage enterprise features in the kind of do-it-yourself website building space, right? We have some features like simple editor that are like DIY. We hear customers kind of asking about it. But I'm curious what you think in terms of like how customers can leverage this going forward. Yep.
So the question is like how to use the DIY features, how to use the custom. What's
well, I guess here let me ask the question again. So it's like you guys are burning the DIY builder into people's brains, and this comes from a place of love, but people really would like to see what other options or use cases go into like an upgrade into the enterprise features.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously like DIY is a big thing about like the enterprise feature, and many of our customers use that. But beside I think like the DIY, the going to the custom plans or the enterprise feature, I think like the first big one is everything that is related to automation. So agencies that we have, they use our API to automate like different aspects of their business. Let me give you some examples of what customers are doing. One, customers are automating customer acquisition by using very dynamic demand generation, landing pages using API, and connecting them to very specific ad campaigns. That's one. Second, customers are automating their site creation process, especially like the planning part of site creation process. So agencies that wants to scale, they have some kind of a process where they're asking customers questions, collecting data, and so on. They're storing all those like all this data today like in their platforms, and then use our API. They're creating sites and pushing all this data to the site, to the content library. So when the designers like want to go and also already build the site, they already have all the phone number, addresses, logo, colors that they want to use, about us, and so on. And then they go from there, and they significantly shortening the time it takes them to build the website. Then another thing that people are doing are later on pushing content into the website. Creating more blog posts, injecting content to pages according to different needs. For example, providing content services at scale, charging customers not just for building a website, but also building content services, part of SEO packages, and using kind of like the API in order to generate content and to push that to websites. So it's a lot about like the automations, allowing you to scale, to get more customers, to work more efficiently, to be more productive. So I think this is like one major thing of the enterprise plans. The second thing is pricing. The enterprise plan is not cheap, but then like the price per site is going like down significantly, and like for agencies that are achieving scale, this becomes very important. And the third thing I think is like the human touch. Like enterprise plan, you get priority support, you get an account manager. Like we have an amazing team of account managers that are pretty strategic and helping those agencies to really grow. So I think these are the three major areas of value.
Great.
What do you think, Russ? What would you add? You also have some experience with that.
with what? With DIY?
Oh. No, it's like the enterprise plan features.
No, yeah, I mean you're absolutely right. The biggest thing is like I think our API, right, allowing our customers to really automate a lot of kind of the actions, right? Like we talked about this in the keynote, right, where we're moving towards, full APIing of websites. We're not, 100% there. We have a little bit of ways to go, but I think there's a pretty interesting future there of pre-generated websites and having more kind of fine-grained control a little bit of the design, because we can put in sections as part of that. I think there's a pretty interesting future there for us in that space. Yeah.
And I just want to add on that we also have the Zapier capabilities that allow you to leverage our capabilities of API, but through the benefits of Zapier. So they make those capabilities a lot more accessible. And we continue to expose a lot of our API capabilities via Zapier as well. And we've seen, great cases of our customers who have actually come from a not custom plan, just to use those Zapier integrations and have managed to get to immense scale just using that. So that's definitely an area to check out as well.
Yeah. Great. A question for you, Abigail, while we're on this is, will we integrate Miro with Duda?
So I like this question a lot because it interests me why you would want to have Miro specifically in Duda. So you can reach out to our support team and tell them you want to talk to me. And I would be happy to hear about it. And why does it interest me so much? If you saw my session before, we talked about going into the planning space. And we love to learn more about how agencies are planning their websites. I'm going on the assumption that's what you're using Miro for, but if it's not the case, let me know. And so at the moment, we don't plan to integrate with Miro specifically, but we do plan to do a lot of things that you might be doing in Miro today in the area of planning your website, understanding the structure of a website, seeing it on a high level, etc. So, happy to talk more about it with you.
Great.
And you love Miro yourself, right, Abigail?
Yeah, I love Miro.
I wanted to say that
I can't deny it.
Anytime you can speak about Miro,
Yeah.
That in Canva, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. I have a question I'm going to direct probably towards Amir, but anyone can take it as well. I'm curious how, here at DudaCon, we announced a lot of big features that we're working on, right? Editor 2.0 is big, kind of the tabs layout is big. A lot of our AI improvements of AI Site Builder are big features. A lot of our e-commerce features are big features. Product customization is bigger than you think. Multi-language is bigger than you probably think. Those are big projects. How do we balance that with, a lot of the small updates that are needed in the platform, right? We get, like we've been talking about, we get thousands of requests from our customers, and we do need to make, incremental small improvements. So how do we balance that from a, development and roadmap perspective?
Who wants to take it? Me?
You can.
Yeah, you
can
can start.
We
will add.
So I think it's always very surprising for us that sometimes we release a very small feature that takes maybe just a few days to develop, and we get much more excitement from our customers than sometimes features that takes half a year to develop. So I think we understand that small features are very important, and missing small capabilities are very annoying. And we did have a problem in this area, I think, in the past. And what we decided to do, we came up with this concept that we called SIS, which stands for small improvement sprints. So we kind of try to schedule a few of those every year, and in those small improvement sprint, we kind of leave all the big projects that we are working on, and for a few weeks just work on small features. There's a lot of work going on before those sprints to prioritize. We rely heavily, not just, but rely heavily on the idea board and on the voting on the idea board. So guys, if there are things that are important for you, do use the idea board, vote on those ideas. If an idea is getting 500 votes, the chance that we'll prioritize it versus an idea with 50 votes is really, really high. And of course, we take also other aspects into consideration, but that's how we try to do that. We also another thing that we try to do is we ask our teams when they develop a feature and release it, not to leave it, but to reiterate on it and add more capabilities after hearing feedback once it is being released. That's another aspect of it.
Yeah, I think that also every feature that we are developing, and not all the features brand new, right? It's based on other features that we have, or we are improving different features. We're asking ourselves, what is the feedback that we got on those features and how we can improve it while developing something that is new based on that. It's like the example that I gave you when we moved features from the classic editor to editor 2.0, but it's happened all the time. We are working on a huge project for something, but then we're crossing different small features that we need to use or need to touch while developing this huge project, and then we can do some small improvements while we are developing it. So we are taking this chance to also improve the features.
Great. That's great, guys. Cool. I'm going to ask a question from Jared that came in a few minutes ago. He's asking, is there any plans on setting up a Duda marketplace where agencies can buy pre-designed sections or maybe templates?
No concrete plan today. It was a project that won one of the internal hackathons that we did.
Yeah.
I think 2 years ago. We think it is cool and viable, but currently not prioritized.
Yeah. Deborah here is asking, do you have a chatbot feature live and with AI or without AI?
That's a question to you, Raz.
We don't have we have a few apps in the App Store that do this. So agents.ai does this where they collect a bunch of information about the business and then they try and respond kind of with AI as well. And we have a few other tools that are looking to do it based off kind of the full content of the website. It's too early to give details on it, but we have a few developers looking at building that type of thing too.
Yeah, but for those things we look at apps to integrate, we don't see it today as much as a core to do that, to build it ourselves probably.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. Great, guys. Any last minute thoughts or kind of things that you guys want to share as a group? We are at the end of our hour here. So if there's anything else that you guys want to add, feel free to throw it in. If not, we can wrap up and say thank you.
Yeah, maybe I'll just add one thing and say we decided to do this session to kind of put ourselves out there. We think it's super important to be in touch with all of our users to understand what your needs are. We can learn a lot from the idea board, like Amir said, and other things like that. But having this interaction with you is really important to us. So we do look at what you're saying everywhere, and we really value that and take it into consideration in all the things we build. So hopefully you saw that through all the sessions that you've seen in DudaCon overall. And yeah.
Thank you for asking and let us answer, right?
Thank you so much, everybody. I'm really happy to wrap up DudaCon here. It's been an awesome 3 days of content and kind of information that we've put out. Really excited about the coming things that we have, and really hopefully our customers are excited too. So again, thank you, everybody. And that's it for DudaCon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.